Hey, welcome to Double Drop Down the Hangout with Adam and Ryan. Today, I start the day in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so I'm about to have a planes, trains, and automobile trip back to the studio so I can hang out with Ryan and get to all you. But I wanted to start the day with something pretty cool. I am standing in front of something called the Cathedral of Learning. And quick peek inside this sweet building and see what it has to offer in terms of coolness. Now, this Cathedral of Learning is one of the spectacles that I got to see on this trip. This is a library. This is where students get to hang out and study. And so here we have it, the Cathedral of Learning. Of basically hanging out in Harry Pottersville. So coming to the studios live. I'm going back to you, Adam and Ryan.
Hey!
Thanks, Adam. Thanks earlier this morning, Adam. That was very cool, man. Obviously an old church, right? That is now part of like just the school.
I don't know if that was a church, but the damn
Okay,
thing
go
went
ahead.
like crazy into the sky. It was.
That's amazing. That's what you get when you head back out east further, right? I feel like we just don't have buildings that old and dramatic here.
So I spent my week in Pittsburgh.
It's Pittsburgh. Got
So
the Pittsburgh shirt.
I got to learn a lot about the Steel City over in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers, how
Sure.
crazy their roads are. If you've ever been to Pittsburgh,
I haven't.
I swear it is like so we got there on Sunday last week, and I went there for a leadership conference. So
Sure.
most of my week was spent at actually Carnegie Mellon, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. Hot topics that we've been talking about for quite a bit of time. They are the number one leading place that AI came from.
Really?
The number one. So I have some stories.
Like it has like when
The
it started
founding
in
fathers.
academics, right, and stuff as just a bunch of computer science nerds trying things.
Well, it's not. No, actually not.
No?
So a psychologist, this Herbert A. Simon, we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Nice.
So we got some good tips on that. So that was not Carnegie Mellon, though. That was the Pittsburgh University. That was their public university. It is a sweet building, and it goes up like 42 floors. There's like offices and all these other things. Hey, how you doing there?
Stealth
babe?
Mouse in the chat, Disturb Shifty in the chat. Welcome everyone.
Hell yeah. Welcome to the show tonight. So yeah, we were super excited to be able to get this show together. I literally walked in the door as Ryan was walking the door. It has been, I am freshly here from being in a 5-hour plane ride, taking little trains between terminals, driving cars. It was quite the thing, taking Ubers and Lyfts.
You were multiple different time zones around this whole United States today, but back in time just for the show.
I traveled back to time and then forward again in time. I went to Phoenix, from freaking Pittsburgh to Phoenix, and then back to Colorado.
Your internal clock is probably at some point you'll just pass out.
Oh yeah, right after this, I'm going out. So, but I'm glad that we can be here, and I have one other video that I'll show in just a little bit. Yeah, I'm definitely a time traveler. But some really cool hot takes about this, and like I didn't really realize, and as I started to think about what we've been doing on the show, we've been talking about AI, right? Mm-hmm. It's hot topic. Guess when it was really first even conceived that AI was a thing?
God, I bet like touring times, right?
So,
Where like
so there was people thinking of it then,
Sure.
right? But then like capabilities to start doing that. You want to take a guess of the year?
like the 60s. or
Very close,
something.
1950s.
Yeah, okay.
So it was the 50s when the computer really started to become a thing that was talked about. And so on the drive down, I did listen to some history. I heard some things from some
Nice.
folks. So the things we want to talk about. But before
Cool.
we do that,
Should we do the run of the show? Should we do run of
I
show?
think we should do run a show today.
I don't want to get too much into it. Let's just say we're going to do. There's going to be some follow up from the last show where Ryan didn't bring everything he could. So I have some follow up for it. We're going to do news stuff. There's a bunch of cool, fun news. And then we are going to talk about a charity stream that we're going to do and sort of put that out
Man,
there.
and we need your help.
And
with
we need
this
your
one.
help. Yes, definitely. There's multiple parts of this episode where we need full chat participation to help us, one, figure out this charity stream, what we want to do on it, and two, talk about the next project that we're going to do.
Heck yeah. And you know,
Today's the
and
day.
I have some really good ideas too about this project that you don't even know about. that I'm
Nah,
bringing
I don't want to
into
hear
it.
them. I've already made up my mind about what direction
You
we're
already
going.
know where we're going. You're like, this is the
Yeah,
thing.
This is all you even having any say is.
You're like, well, so what other things I did want to talk about is we have a bunch of news articles, and we want to just let you know that we're learning. And it's been 2 years since we've been kind of doing the show,
Yep.
and things that we always want to improve. And so we've noticed that when we watch some of the VODs sometimes that we don't really explain the articles too much before we just get into our freaking hot takes.
That's true.
So we're trying to be intentional to help you out, understand what we've been looking at, what we've been reading. I feel like I'm constantly in on just reading and kind of absorbing things all the time. I love to learn. I don't know about you, Ryan.
I mean, it's sort of the news junkie in me, right? That is always wanting to see like, what's the next thing? What are people talking about? And it's why I'm into AI and creative stuff and technology and all of that, because it's, I don't know, I'm just interested in that in general for the most part. So that's what my social media feed gets filled up with, and that's what like I end up reading and watching.
I don't watch TV. I mean, I don't know about you, but I just don't even have even a second to think about watching TV or doing any of that.
The only side, just shout out real quick, love that the writer's strike is ended and that late shows are back on, because that is some of the only TV that I watch is.
It's live though. That's good stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
that's
fun.
true. I typically don't watch it live, but yes, those are the things that.
Well, it's kind of like what
it's
we're
like
doing
news.
though, right?
Totally, it feels a lot like that with our audience out out there in the seats.
And we're trying to grow it. So if you have anybody that you think would like the show, let them know, because it's fun to just hang out with y'all and do that.
Go to Double Drop Down. It's where a bunch of the links will be for today's stuff that we're talking about, and that's where you can follow all the fun stuff we're doing.
I feel like you need to get a little bit of camera on you there. Look at that. Get
Is
you
it?
lined up.
There we go.
Yeah, so once we get enough extra help, we'll have somebody that helps direct the show, so we can just continue being this sweet talent on the Hangout.
Someone else will nudge the camera slightly left.
I was thinking about it, to be honest with you, and if I had the chance, there's two things I'm going to start out. Didn't even have this on the agenda, but we always talk about what we've been up to.
Yeah.
So obviously, I went to this. I was in Pittsburgh earlier this morning, and so I was learning about leadership. But I was in Pittsburgh also being able to see this interesting kind of city that I didn't really know much about. All I knew is Pittsburgh Steelers, and I knew that there was steel there. Of
Steel
course,
City, but
yellow.
I feel like Pueblo is also a Steel City, right?
I have learned so much history about Pueblo recently because we had a retreat in people in Pueblo and learned about steel, and then I went and I learned a lot about the Steel City. But guess what? The steel industry really collapsed in like around the 1970s, and maybe even a little bit before that time. And what had happened is Pittsburgh reinvented themselves. And what they did was they created an educational, medicine, and technology hub there. They had
those three things. I don't know if that was.
100%.
I don't know if that was a good idea. Actually, those feel like three really great things.
They were great.
Yeah.
And Carnegie Mellon helped to be a philanthropist. Carnegie Mellon isn't a person. There's Andrew Carnegie and Andrew Mellon who kind of came together, and some of the philanthropy. There, we
Yes,
got it.
there you go.
With Carnegie was to build a lot of these things that enhanced a lot of cool educational opportunities, and so the school Carnegie Mellon out there is kind of an embodiment of that. They have a lot of smart peoples, and the demographics you see there are much different than some other institutions I have seen, anywhere. So I got to see a lot of things. We're not going to go into this whole field trip of what I had gone in through, but what I found the most interesting is that the founding fathers of AI and the number one kind of research regarding AI came out of Carnegie Mellon.
I had no idea. I don't know if I know too much about actually the early parts of AI.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, here we have a year in now where it's been a year where the like exponential, everyone knows what the hell AI is, and they're using ChatGPT.
Right.
And so I started to kind of get a little bit more insight. So I have one hot, interesting intake or insight on this is that, so one of my colleagues out there worked with Herbert A. Simon.
Wow.
And because he had been a student there, or like a student
Oh,
worker.
okay.
And so here's the cool thing. So Herbert is, unfortunately, he's passed away at this point.
Sure.
But he's considered one of the fathers of AI, and he studied psychology. And one of the things that he really wanted to understand was how people think. How do they make decisions? So a lot of what his initial insights was around understanding the human, and then started to see computers in the 1950s and said, there's some potential here. Because I think early on we started to think of computers as something that just did arithmetic and like numbers and math,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. A calculator, a glorified calculator.
Precisely. And so what he saw, what, they can do more of that. You can do things with symbols. You can start to understand your environment a little bit better. And so the initial models around AI were built on just understanding the human brain and how people make decisions and how things work.
Yeah.
And so that's where he came into, and he started partnering with a lot of folks. And I think it was in the 1950s, 1960s, between that era, where this Herbert stepped in, and of course it's hard to say that he would be the one father, but he was one of the people. He's a Nobel laureate.
Nice.
He has multiple PhDs. He's an economist. He's done a lot of crazy things to create this. And so like CIS wasn't even a thing back then.
Sure.
It was like industrial science or computation or something to like that. It was.
I bet it was a fun old timey word that meant computer, right?
So anyhow, I happened to just learn a little bit about this, but the quick little anecdote story is this colleague that I'm working with. And I'm not going to, I'll let him tell the story a little bit more succinctly, because I think he could be a future guest on the show. But one of the things that was kind of astounding is when the man passed away, Herbert, they had to clearly clean out some of the offices and areas that he was at. So they cleaned out the office. They were going to get rid of his desk, like just throw it away because it was there.
Sure.
And the guy's like, nope, mine. And so he has Herbert's freaking
Nice.
the
Oh,
father
man.
of AI's desk.
Wow.
We have like these connections. So
Dang.
you got to hang out at the Hangout with Adam
That's
Ryan.
that's how you get
You get these hot tips and the real things.
Yeah.
You get into the history of it.
Love that.
And so that's one of the things. So I have one more clip. I'm gonna get the clip out of the way because I think it would be worthwhile just to take a quick peek at it.
Okay.
So,
Hello. Guess where I'm standing right now?
Where,
The
Adam?
ground that Herbert A. Simon walked, who is known as the father of AI. So I'm on the campus of Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Different shirt.
Just thought it would be a cool moment to talk about
what was different?
Herbert and his contribution to AI. Amongst other
Cool.
things, he's also a Nobel laureate, double PhD, and these are the very areas that he walked, helped build, helped to create in this campus, and also just something that's very interesting to be able to be in this space, especially after we've been talking about AI so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to share a little bit of what that campus. So we got some really cool buildings here.
That was me flipping the
A lot
camera
of different
around.
folks
Oh,
running
I
around
see.
Early in the morning.
That's what those cuts are.
Yeah, it's not
And
edit.
Sure.
off in the distance, not
Wow.
necessarily part of
Early.
Carnegie Mellon, there is the Cathedral of Learning we talked about.
Oh,
earlier.
cool.
So it's not Carnegie Mellon. So the thing that was interesting is like Carnegie Mellon and the University of Pittsburgh are like super close together. And it seems like he dropped off the frame. It's probably when I play that video. Sorry about that, Disturbed. But one of the interesting things is that there's these like it's like really collegial down there. There's all these different things that are right next to each other. There's Pittsburgh. There's this other university down there, and then Carnegie Mellon. So in any case, I'm not going to go crazy into this anymore, but I want to start going into the history of it later in subsequent shows, getting a little bit insights on algorithms and really what they do and AI, because I think this is where we need to start doing some history lessons and bringing that back to y'all. So we can use the tools, but let's start figuring out what that foundation is.
I love that. And there's like, I have book recommendation, so where I've like read some certain books on AI that were very interesting and cool that talked a little bit about, like they have little pieces of that, but I love the idea of sort of being more well-rounded about this whole technology and talking about it.
As we should be.
Yeah.
So, all right, where are we headed
I don't
for
know.
today's show?
Well, did you want to do, let's see, we could do the follow through.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay. So if you were hanging out last Hangout, one thing that we did was we had Adam read a very lengthy. It was about 8 minutes or 7 minutes or something like that. A whole section of just some random story, and it was to clone Adam's voice. And because we were going to do that, and then it ended up that it cost like $100. And I was like, that sucks. Like, I wanted to be able to do that and see how that sort of turned out and everything. So, what was great is when afterwards I had a perfectly amazing recording of Adam Posh's voice from the VOD of the show. And I was like, this is great. All I got to do is I'm going to chunk that out, get it out into Audition, and I cut that part out, and I went searching around the internet for where can I find a place that will allow me to clone Adam's voice for free. And so I found some places, and I feel like what we can do is we can go, they're numbered. I have these files, the outputs of these, and I ChatGPT'd up something for us to say, for you to say.
Oh, Jesus.
No. I mean, it was like introducing the show, right? It wasn't, it wasn't blackmail material.
That's good.
Anything.
I mean, it could be though. Now.
Sure, of course.
I'm already out there.
Yeah.
So anything I say, you can't even trust anymore. That's how it's got to be.
Nothing here, nothing in real life, nothing. So I went in and I did it, and some of them are like so I have them numbered through what I think are 1 is the worst one through what do I have 5 that are the best ones.
Now, some of them look like they're just WAV files, and others are they all WAV files? They're all just audio?
No, most of them gave them as WAV files. One of them gave them as an MP3 file, and then my 2. So then I'll talk about mine because I did one for me, and those are videos because I couldn't figure out how to export it out. I had to just capture it in OBS.
All right, so we're just listening to this first one. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. So let me talk about it. Let me talk about it first.
Oh God.
Okay. So this is from this one is called Alpha Dragon Voice Clone, and it's from Hugging Face, which if you know we've talked about Hugging Face a bunch on the show. Sure. It's basically a place where you can park AI projects that you're working on and let people try them.
Right.
And this one, these 2 Hugging Face ones, this one and next, literally took it wanted 45 seconds of your voice or something, or 3 minutes of your voice. And then it did it in 30 seconds. It came up with this. It did your voice. And then what do you want to type in? And then I typed in this thing that you're going to hear a bunch, but this is the version. This is what we have.
So I didn't say any of this, right?
No. This is none of this is you. This is all written in the thing. So the worst one, let's go worst one first.
Hey, fellow gamers and creative thinkers. Adam here from Double Drop Down, and I'm thrilled to announce that this week on the Hangout with Adam and Ryan, we're celebrating our episode with an explosion of awesomeness. We announce our latest mind-blowing project with help from the chat, talk about the latest tech news, and preview our upcoming hour live stream for Extra Life. We can't wait to see you in the Hangout.
Okay.
Hey, fellow.
Oh, okay. So very, yeah.
Stilted, right?
I could kind of hear me
totally.
in it.
You can hear it. I feel like it didn't just give us some random thing. It trained it on your voice somewhat, right? Somewhat. I think this next one is going to be very similar. I think they were
fellow
almost...
gamers and creative thinkers. Adam here from Double Drop Down, and I'm thrilled to announce that this week on the Hangout with Adam and Ryan, we're celebrating our episode with an explosion of awesomeness. We announce our latest mind-blowing project with help from the chat, talk about the latest tech news, and preview our upcoming powerless stream for Extra Life.
Doesn't like tech.
It doesn't like tech. So anyway, those are
those are both Hugging Face.
Both Hugging Face, which is just literally a person uploaded a thing. Okay, so next one is an actual paid product, and
did you pay some cash for
no.
this? Oh, okay.
So that's why this next one will not be reading that exact thing. It reads like a pre-done out texting, so you can get a sense of it, and then if you pay them, they'll give you some more, but it's trained on your voice.
All right, fair enough. Here we go.
Hi, Double Drop Down. It's time to listen to your voice clone in action. Your voice clone opens up a world of possibilities. Imagine using it for audiobooks, podcasts, voiceovers, or even sending personalized voice messages to loved ones. The opportunities are limitless, and we can't wait to see how you'll leverage this incredible tool.
Okay. So that one,
That's better.
it's pretty good, right? Like it's
Man,
better than the other ones.
gonna game me.
For sure,
This
for
is-
sure.
that
Like,
was
so that was
that's
better.
creepy.
you
All right,
know?
all right.
Yeah. Okay. So next one. So this is called Play HT.
Hey, fellow gamers and creative thinkers. Adam here from Double Drop Down, and I'm thrilled to announce that this week on the Hangout with Adam and Ryan, we're celebrating our 40th episode with an explosion of awesomeness. We announce our latest mind-blowing project. With help from the chat, talk about the latest tech news, and preview our upcoming 24-hour live stream for Extra Life. We can't wait to see you in the Hangout.
Pretty good, right?
Damn, and they even got the word tech right.
It got the word tech right. Like it sort of there was a little bit of like up and down in it
Had
that I
some
felt
inflection.
like slightly more like Adam.
How
I
much
feel
did
like.
it take of my voice to even get that good?
So that one, I think they were all like 10 minutes. They needed it to be 10 because I feel like I had all, and some of them were like, oh, I only need 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I had to do a version because I uploaded one and it was like, that was too much. Like I couldn't even handle that. So I had to cut it down to 3. I had to do a 3-minute version.
But it's creepy because like you just go to any streamer or anybody that's on there, you got voice.
You got it.
You
right?
got it.
Like,
So
anyone, you could have it with. Okay, so this is the last one.
This is called Vocloner.
VO cloner, voiceover cloner,
I want to call it Vocloner.
vocaliner.
Vocloner. That's much a cooler name.
Hey, fellow gamers and creative thinkers.
Oh, this one's
Adam
worse.
here from Double Drop Down, and I'm thrilled to announce that this week on the Hangout with Adam and Ryan, we're celebrating our episode with an explosion of awesomeness. We announce our latest mind-blowing project with help from the chat, talk about the latest tech news, and preview our upcoming hourless stream for Extra Life. We can't wait to see you in the Hangout.
Okay, that one was worse. I feel like Play HT was the best one.
I think Play HT was the best one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, so then what happened was I went to a one called Descript.
Okay.
And it's like a video, like it does all sorts of AI. Like they tout it as it can be a thing where like you're looking at a video, like it takes video in and you can make it so that if your eyes are off center, like let's say you're looking at the camera right here,
Yeah.
right? But I'm actually reading something over here. It will like move your eyes back to center and stuff. And you can build things in it. And one of the things they do is voice cloning. So I was like, great, I'm going to add Adams into here. And then it was like, I need 30 minutes of audio to do it.
Clone that other one.
And I was like, well, I got plenty of audio, Adam, like on the show. I'll just go in and do it. But then, so I did that. I got another 20 minutes of Adam talking to himself on some, Witcher stream or something.
I was gonna say like I just took a 30 minutes directly out of Hangout because he won't shut up.
No, well, I tried to do that. And then I was like, oh, then it's like Adam a little bit and then me. And then I just need one where Adam's talking. So I did that all. And then it says, okay, I'm going to do that. But you need to record into this that it's okay that I clone your voice. And we're going to match that voice to the one that you uploaded. So I couldn't do that, right? I couldn't use Adam's
Yes, you
voice.
could have. You could have used freaking Play
Oh, yeah.
HT.
And then to play whatever they read into it. No, you're absolutely right. But I didn't do that. And so I was like, well,
man.
it'll be fun. I'll do mine.
All right.
So I
Is there a
went and
video on
grabbed.
this?
Yeah. So here's the problem because
I'm gonna pause it though.
yeah, pause it.
Okay.
So here was my test. So I did this. It needed 30 minutes. I did 30 minutes, or I found 30 minutes of me talking.
Okay.
Uploaded it to that. It had to like sync with my voice, and I had to record that thing that said it was cool and everything. And then it emailed us like a day later saying your voice is ready to try. And so I came in here and did this. Now, one thing you have to hear with this is
Here it
that
is.
if there are words that it doesn't know. And I don't know if that's because it wasn't in the recording that I did, or it just like, you know how all the other ones, it tried its best to say all of those words. This one will replace words with the word gibber,
What?
like jibber jabber, and like applesauce or something. Anyway, so you'll hear it, and that's why it's better. So you should show the screen right now.
Oh, I was going to. Yeah.
Because what it's going to do is like, so I tried to go in because I kept being like, well, I don't want it to say gibber. I want it to say, so this one is slightly different, the wording, because I kept trying to replace words
Here we
with
go.
ones that it would know. This is me fucking around and trying. Sorry, screwing around.
And Gibber Thinkers. Ryan here from Double Drop Down, and I am excited to announce that this week on the Hangout with Adam and Ryan, we're celebrating our 40th Gibber with a blast of awesomeness. With help from the Gibber, we figure out our latest mind-blowing project, talk about important technology news, and detail our upcoming 24-hour stream for Extra Life. We cannot wait to see you in the show this week.
That was pretty good.
I think
was
it's
really
the best
good.
one. I think it's the best one.
Let's see this next one. Hold on.
And it's very close to the same thing. It was
Hey gamers and Gibber Thinkers, Ryan here from Double Drop Down, and I am excited to announce that this week on the Hangout with Adam and Ryan, we're celebrating our 40th Gibber with a blast of awesomeness. With help from the Gibber, we figure out our latest mind-blowing project, talk about important technology news, and detail our upcoming 24-hour stream for Extra Life. We cannot wait to see you in the show this week.
on their upcoming Gibber
Gibber, gibber, gibber.
with help from the Gibber.
Oh man, that's good. That one is scary good.
That one's good, right?
I love it.
Half an hour is what it needed of me talking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because if it was like 30 minutes of you talking, how did you even do that? Did you just like read something for 30 minutes?
I took me when I did the show by myself one time, and see, because I tried to take it from a video game one that you had played and one from me, and then I was like, oh, there's all this like yeah in the back, like it needs to be, you know, no sound from anything else. And so there was one where I was playing with it, you know, playing with stuff and doing the normal Adam and Ryan show by myself, and I had at least half an hour there.
That's pretty Gibber.
A Gibber, I feel like, is the new cool slang.
How do you spell Gibber? Is it
yeah, like
Gibber?
yeah,
Jibba jabba.
yeah, like two B's.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, that's
Anyway, so I just wanted to, because I felt like it was such a letdown last time that we didn't get to hear cloned Adam and cloned Ryan, and so I thought I would show those up, and they were fun. It was interesting to see which ones were due. I signed up for like a million different. I'm sure you saw a Double Drop Down email getting pinged with like
Constantly.
1,000 things.
because that's on both our phones. I'm
Totally, it's on both our phones, and I was
Oh
like,
my
"Oh, I'm
God.
ruining it for Adam because he's seeing all of these voice cloner things come up."
I know you signed up for a bazillion things with our
Because I
emails,
was just
so-
like, I just needed to look through, and most of them, literally half of those, I unassigned to because they were like, "Sure, you could do it for free," and then they didn't.
They didn't
you
do
know?
the thing.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to point out that we're gonna put all of those clips on our website. You got to
Of course.
plug for that,
Totally.
But
Oh, yeah.
So if you didn't know, you could go to our website and start to see all the fun stuff we've been doing from past episodes. So we absolutely did do things last time, and I just wanted you to remind you. Remember, we had me in a little creepy version of me.
Welcome to the Hangout with Adam and Ryan with special guest Michael and the Unity Stone. The one that cost $99.
Now imagine if we had cloned your voice and it was actually
in
like,
my
sounded-
voice.
Man,
Oh my
how
God!
great
So
would that be?
that's what I'm saying.
Just do the
That's
whole
thing.
just do the whole show that way.
So if you want to check it out online. We'll have those all up.
DoubleDropDown.com.
Yeah, we're really pushing for that, aren't
Yeah,
we?
whatever.
We need to, because that's where the links are. Because it's all
Totally.
when it's embedded in the show, you get to see it for that one moment. But now you can go get to see all those little fun things that we put out there.
Totally. Anyway, I thought
Man,
that was fun.
I love that cloning the voice. So the thing that's neat about all this is that it starts to show you that we could start to put all these little pieces together, and we could actually do something big. I think that's one of our skill sets.
Totally.
Is
Oh
like
man.
collaborating, putting that.
If we talk about this next project until later tonight, I feel like some of that's gonna come in.
Gibberty. Welcome to the Gibber with Adam and Ryan.
Thanks. With great help from the Gibber. Because it didn't know chat. I was like, it doesn't know chat?
I wonder if it thought it was like a bad word.
Yeah, it could have been.
But
then, so here was the thing with that one, and we'll move on. The only thing I want to
you're
say
good.
with that one is like, it shows you it's not a perfect thing at all, because I would go through and I would be like, oh, it doesn't like chat, right? So I'll be like, from the audience. And then it would go through and it would pick up chat at a different spot or something. Like it wasn't consistent about which words it wouldn't do and which ones it would do. Because like if I took out chat and then put it back in, then it would know what chat was. And I was like, what the hell? Like, so I was trying to switch things around so I would get no Gibber, and like I couldn't do it because I would switch it all out and then it would be like, well, now I don't know what gamer means. And I'm like, you knew a gamer meant for like 20 times before this. Anyway.
no, and I would love to read. No, wait. Let me ask you a question about it. Did that one cost money?
No, none of I did paid zero money for any of these.
But that last one, did it cost money to get that? Because I'm just trying to say, if we're gonna like adopt one of these,
Right.
we are gonna have to pay. I pay money for Midjourney right now
Me too.
and ChatGPT.
I don't pay for ChatGPT. I use the studio. I use my work studio version.
Well, I am a ChatGPT connoisseur at this point, and I think this is a great lead-in into a piece that Herbert was talking about. So I listened to this. I did not watch this YouTube video on the way home, but it was playing through my car's Bluetooth. And so generally I wanted to just talk about Herb Simon, and he had given this speech after years of doing some things. And I'll just chuck this in the chat if you're interested. We will also put this on the website, but if you'd like to kind of check this out, this is the YouTuber we're going to go to. But at the end, he's talking about AI and basically kind of the timeline that I was going with, and probably better because he's the one that lived it. But one of the things he starts to talk to, and this is in, I think, June of 1998, he's starting to say, what is the limitation? Like, where are we going next with AI, right? And so what is the thing? What is the barrier before we start to say AI is really evolving? And he thinks that it actually is thinking. Watch the video to see what that means. He has some really good takes on what that means. Not thinking to the level that we are, but let me see if I can find this part. So what you will see here, we're going to go to this little screen here. So he's talking about
the model
playing
of the game
chess.
inside the computer is exactly what the game is.
So he's basically saying that you build models around the things that you know, and so the computer can kind of start to make some decisions around it. But it's near the end of this. So let me see if we can just get to it.
There are natives in New Guinea who survived for quite a large number.
All right,
We have
here
a little area of expertise, as you learn when you go to another society. We have little areas of expertise, and we're pretty good. But if you take any little area of expertise, we're already at the point, and have been, well, perhaps since Dendro, have been at the point, or since the speech recognition system, where we can perform all sorts of particular tasks at a good human professional level. So the task of AI in the future, or even in the present, is not to demonstrate that computers can think. They've been thinking for 45 years. It's not to demonstrate that a computer, when it has the proper knowledge base and program, can operate as an expert in special areas. The new tasks are the tasks of allowing computers to act more effectively than they have been acting in areas that involve this intricate interaction with the environment. Speech, vision, motor activity, and language. And I think we can find,
talking about from 1998, right?
But think about what he's saying right now. And this is near the end of this. This is a perfect lead-in.
Enough excitement there to keep us all busy until at least Ed's atomic computer is in operation. Thank you.
Okay, what did he just say? Speech, vision, like
mobility and something else, right?
So let's go back to, because I think it's important.
Motor activity, vision, motor activity.
What did ChatGPT just come out with?
Yeah, the multimodal, like being
freaking modal.
Multimodal.
So in 1998, he's basically saying we're not at this point yet where, it has the capability of doing all those things simultaneously or at the same time. ChatGPT just this last week launched that.
When did he die?
I don't know the year yet. I don't know enough.
Is it it's too bad, It's always like he was so ahead of his time, right? Thinking about it and doing it, and he didn't get to see it come to fruition. He just missed it by a couple of years.
2001.
Okay, so he missed it by 20 years.
He was born in 1916.
Yeah. Well, he was pretty old there in 1998.
Yeah, that's freaking amazing. And so so what we're talking about, and I feel like we should. I haven't even tried it yet. I got to be honest with you.
I
Have
had
you?
a hands-on, so I had in the show notes, I had hands-on with multimodal ChatGPT, but I didn't. So do you want to like? I feel like the easiest thing to do is upload a picture, right?
Well, I
and
think we
have
could do that. So just to show folks, they've done some enhancements to the interface if you haven't been playing with ChatGPT. But one of the things that I've been using the heck out of is when it goes to 4 now all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have limits anymore. It's
Right.
4 default. Pay for this. I don't know what it is. So like 3.5, what do you get out of that? Just like really
It's
fast?
Yeah.
So GPT-4 is all I use. I love 4.
Yeah.
But then I go in here, you have the browsing.
Yeah.
You have the data, and oh my gosh, I use data analysis so much. I suck in so much data and I put it into the different like sheets and things like that.
Okay.
And then I run it through these and I ask it to do things for me.
Yeah.
And I have keep hearing people be like, "Oh, ChatGPT." These are people that don't use it. Like it comes out with things that are really not good. If you copy and paste things, it's not going to be great. Of course it's
Sure.
not. Like
Right.
it has become an assistant to me, and it's not something that I am thinking that I want to just copy and paste of. I need a thinking partner. I need you to like take this block of text that I wrote, help me see a pattern, and help me see it a little bit different. So I'm just going to give you a quick example, though, of why this development is starting to become really awesome is that I will take analysis documents. I'll go and collect a bunch of things from a focus group and have data points that I collect, randomized, autonomous, not people's information. And then I'm like, can you give me some insights and themes that you're starting to see
Right.
from this? Give me some, like, what do you see from that? And then from that, I'm able to be like, oh man, I can see that from another perspective. And so it helps
it's why-
so awesomely.
Create a bunch of creative projects that I start with. Always like before it was like, oh, I did a thing and I tried stuff, and then I was like, oh right, I should use ChatGPT to like help with that. And now I'm just like, I start with ChatGPT because that is such a cool like thing that gives you ideas. It feels like it gives you ideas, and then you go, oh man, great. Here's how I'm going to put that in my context of this. Like, thanks for that idea.
Yeah,
Close browser and then work on it and do stuff like
precisely.
yeah.
It is not like I do not feel like I'm cheating because I'm not stealing things from it. I'm not just like copying and pasting. It's like that seed.
Yeah. I feel like it's a better thought partner and provoker of ideas than
You know what I think it is? Is I think it's what we were saying before, where it enhances our ability to go further faster.
Yes. Right? Like, talk about our AI board game. We wouldn't have known, like, it would have taken forever to be like, oh, okay, let's come up with what the rules are. And we wouldn't know. We'd be Googling things and asking people and doing stuff. But it's like having sort of like a good enough thought partner to be like, give us some ideas for any of this stuff. And, doing all these animation or, images and everything. That guy's so cool.
Well, and he's the guy we're loading in.
All right,
no,
let's
so
do it.
I mean, I'm hearing what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
like it helps us to help.
So do you have to put a message? Do you have to?
I don't know. Let's see what happens if I hit submit. It's like, great. It's creepy.
Weirdo.
It's a captivating. It's dystopian winter setting with a robot or mechanical being in the foreground and another luminescent entity in the background. The ambiance, snow, and details like the glowing eyes and lanterns make it quite atmospheric. How can I assist you with it? Cool. So let's say, did you know that you came up with the concept and prompt to make this image, right?
Yeah.
Image
Let's see what it says.
in another AI imaging. What was the AI? Another AI imaging program?
Platform?
Platform, I guess. Yeah. Question mark. It's gonna trip it out.
Oh man, it's gonna fizzle out your computer.
This platform might have so it's saying I wasn't aware specific creations or outputs from on other platforms. It's fascinating to hear that a concept or prompt from this platform might have influenced or been used to create such compelling piece of art elsewhere.
Utilize in various applications, and it's always intriguing to see the breadth and depth of creativity that they can inspire. How can I assist you further in regarding this?
You're like, I want more surprise and excitement around this, please. So let's say Okay, so it is being used as a cover in a board game you also helped create, right?
Yep.
Oh man, this keyboard is so nice.
It does. Seems nice.
What other prompts could you provide that might create similar images, right?
Yeah.
Images for the instructions.
Great. I mean, we could do this in Midjourney, but sure, let's give it to ChatGPT and see what it does.
Yeah, I think that's the cool part of this is that, oh, wow, he's excited. Certainly. Let's go for it. Post-apocalyptic carnival. Oh, man, I think it's the carnival. That's the North Pole, boy.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, AI.
Underwater-
Underwater city ruins? Okay, you've fallen off the horse. We didn't really give it its theme, though.
Oh, it's like giant luminescent jellyfish.
All right, chat, if you're even out there, you got to tell us which one of these prompts we're going to run with. You got post-apocalyptic carnival,
Okay.
underwater city ruins,
Sure.
deserted train station, mountaintop observatory.
I feel like that's the closest one to a sky filled with celestial anomalies and vibrant northern lights. That feels like it.
I mean, but at this point, we're well beyond the game. This
That's
is
true.
this is just like which one sounds the most interesting. Enchanted Forest Factory, Mystical Marketplace. Oh, I like that. Island of Lost Machines, Subterranean Civilization, and Skyward City.
Nice.
Oh man, it's just like
It
pumping them
We'll
out.
probably do 10, right?
I'm hoping. Timeless Library. That one sounds cool. A vast ornate library
Yeah.
where clockwork librarians work. Oh man, all of those are good. I want to see one.
Yeah.
All right. If we don't get anything in just a second, then Ryan, you get to pick. Which one are we gonna pick?
I mean, are we picking one that is just which one of these sounds fun?
The most
or which
fun
one
one.
is okay?
Out of
yeah.
all these, which one would you want to see?
Okay, let's see.
'Cause I think there's some cool ones in there.
Cloud realm between cloud realms. Wow.
Which one's that? The sky.
Skyward City.
Skyward. That sounds like a Star Wars Cloud City.
I mean, clockwork librarians would be pretty cool. We were talking about a library today.
All right, we'll do that one then. Timeless Librarian, because we
Okay.
want to stay on schedule here
Yeah,
with the
that's
show.
true.
But
That's
this is fun because I think what was cool was we see this prediction of 1998 of being able to have a platform do this.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we had number 9 as a
Ooh,
vote
Skyward
as well.
City. Okay, we'll do both.
Okay, we're gonna do the Timeless, and then we're gonna jump into that one. So here's our mid journey. I'll do this on the public one today.
Yeah.
You gotta use.
Join us on Discord.
Stop shilling our. I'm just kidding.
Seriously, I know.
You gotta get out there. You gotta be part of this. If you're not with us,
You're against us. God damn it. And my enemy.
All right, I'm gonna grab this other one.
Yeah. You can
Skyward City is the.
Those are both good.
I think those are great, and I could probably just even chuck that one in there. I feel like I want to show this sweet keyboard off. It is so buttery smooth. Are you
Yeah.
good? Are you a good typist?
No, I'm. So I bought a mechanical keyboard like 2 years ago, and I don't like it still because I think it's too small.
It's a short one though, right?
It's a short. Well, no, I mean it has a full number pad on the right and everything, but I just feel like it's too small, so I end up making a lot of mistakes.
Damn.
Ooh.
Those are really cool.
Oh, but it didn't have the robots. It's just a cool building.
Oh, we didn't look close enough. Fair enough. It says but it didn't say anything about robots. Clockwork Librarians Catalog. It just
Yeah,
Clockwork
I wanted clockwork librarians.
I think
and it
we
didn't.
read. See, this is where your human brain puts like things together. Oh God, this one's so awesome too.
Oh man, yeah, the number one I feel like
Oh,
is
man.
4 is pretty good.
I
too,
was gonna
though.
say 4, bottom right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Are you
I like the
saying-
melding of the nature with the crazy floating
Well,
sky city.
It just has that like tree
Yeah.
like. Ooh.
Yeah. Do some variations. Or upscale that one and do some
We're gonna
variations.
upscale 4, right?
Yeah.
That one's great. No, the librarian one, I mean, it's cool.
It's
you know what it
cool.
reminds me of? Sandman. I said I didn't watch TV earlier, but I
And then
freaking
here's-
binged the
yeah.
crap out of that.
Nice.
You like 3, as in this one?
No, I think from the one before.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that one's cool.
We'll upscale 3 because you're pulling out. Man, that looks so good.
It looks like Mass Effect like concept art.
I like how it has the old city, but
Yeah.
then like new.
It was like they built it. It's like they figured out something, and then they still kept with the same sort of like theme, but then they built it in the air.
Amazing.
cool.
See, I mean, gosh, these just pop up at our head. So we got 2 more for the website to look into. Those are going to be
Perfect.
amazing. So
Yeah, I like that the library that we just did had the sort of no, I mean the bottom one. I like how it's like in space or time or something
You have
is
something in there.
outside. It was good.
you see anybody in there? Is there?
There's no robot librarians. Clockwork librarians. I mean, oh well.
I was thinking, yeah, just clockwork. And there's no clockwork in there.
What a piece of crap.
What was it thinking? These freaking things. All right.
What a piece of gibber. Gibber.
All right, I'm gonna show the keyboard off because it's so cool. Check out this keyboard.
8-bit dough. Sponsor the show. So I
Yeah,
can have
please
cool
do. Give
things.
us give Ryan one of these things. It's so butterly. It's so gibbery.
It's so gibber. Man.
It has this so up at the top. It has these little things you can
These
turn
little
it on.
gibbers.
You got this gibber here and this jibber jabber there.
Yeah, it's like when you can't think of a word because that's what it was from the that context. Just gibber.
It has these big buttons, and I feel like since I
did you
showed it
have
off,
that?
I do.
Yeah. Why did you? Yeah, Disturbed like very hardcore 80s NES theme.
That was the exact. They had a Famicom version or the NES, and of
Ooh.
course I had to go with the NES version.
Sure.
So I did not buy it for this. I just wanted the keyboard because number one, I wanted a mechanical for here, but then I also
This just
wanted
came with
the
it.
cool. This just comes with it. So you can program these things to do anything you want. I was thinking I could do a sound effect that would go or something. I don't know.
A 2-button soundboard.
That is literally all it is. It's 2 huge buttons. Feel this thing. Look how
I mean,
much.
it's like heavy duty too. It doesn't feel cheap. Like
Not at all.
and they felt of course 8-bit dough is like good.
And then it
but-
came up with all these little stickers that I could put on it too.
Oh, nice.
So if you wanted to do
Yeah, what
an action,
What would be a actual use for this?
I have no idea, and that's why I was like, I'm just gonna put this back in the box because I don't know what I want to do with it.
I mean, it could be, I feel like of all people, Adam would find some kind of crazy thing to do with
You wa-
that. Like you walk into the room and you slap that, then it,
Actually, you want to hear?
automates some kind of portion of your house.
Here's my idea that
Okay.
I was thinking. We'd have one for each of us.
Yeah, because there's 2,
There's
right?
2.
Next, and they're sort of like they could be right here on the desk.
And this is a lame one, but it might help in the show. It's like when you start chit chatting and I start chit chatting. Let's say you hit it, and then it would just zoom into you for a certain amount
right.
of minutes or seconds, and then it would go back out to
Oh.
the full screen. That was one idea.
That would be a cool idea.
So-
I like that idea. It could be like bookmarking the show. If you if some cool moment came up, we could bookmark the show and then be like, oh right, yeah, when we at 37 minutes in, we were talking about this thing.
Wait, he has a big button like that, and it takes him to the supplier's website. That's great. I was like, what task would we need that would need that huge a button? I was thinking it could be if you're playing a game.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of what it's for, right? It's
Right.
for as if you were, like playing Tapper or something. But I imagine what games only have 2 buttons and no joystick.
You use the whole
I guess.
keyboard as
Then
your.
why is
your
it so
stuff.
gigantic, though? I feel like, for one thing, we need to Google. I'm sure tons of people have found out fun ways to do things with those buttons.
I'm sure
That's
they,
been out
they
for
did.
a while, hasn't it?
All right,
Yeah.
we're transitioning.
You just ask ChatGPT what to do with those 2 buttons.
It sounds like okay. we're going to get into this because we're going to kind of close this loop on this story regarding the AI discussion. So we went with Herb talking about AI. We learned a little history. I think we need to dig in and figure out more about him for the future. We're going to have someone on the show that's going to talk about history.
Oh, did you see Stealth Mouse?
Applause.
It's like a laugh track in the background.
Oh man, you know what I did? That would be awesome. I downloaded a bunch of sound effects. Now you make me want. There's got to be a like clapping or something in here. Do I have one? We could do like a sensor beep because Ryan, we're trying not to cuss on this show.
True. I
That would be a good one.
Gibber.
Gibber.
A gibber button.
Oh,
You can change it every week.
this is a good one. Let's see if you know what it is.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's like a Mario, right?
Startup of the Game Boy. I everyone's gonna hate this one. I love this one for some reason, but everyone's gonna hate it.
It's the classic. It's the classic. Get hype.
That's a good one though. I think these are all like potential ones we could use. Now we got to be careful because we don't want to overdo it, but it would be fun to use some of these.
Wow.
So we could get
Those are good.
right.
Yeah, I feel like that would be fun.
So then like, wait.
The fail.
Or when we do say something stupid. We got the sound effects on the
this is
Hangout.
great, man.
We're up in
I
game.
I always heard a soundboard ruins the show.
it
So
would.
why you only get 2?
Yeah, see, you keep it to that level, and we should be just fine. So.
And his name is John C.
I feel like my children use this meme. My children.
Okay.
My name is John Cena meme.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we will. Disturbed. You know what it's gonna take for us to do that?
We need 2 more.
Two more Twitch followers. What do you think we've been trying to hype people for? That's all we need is 2 more, and then we're at the right tier where we can do that.
We can do fun things like that and give out points.
You can have subscribers and everything. We've been pushing this. We went and like got stagnant. That's where we're trying to get the show going. So we need your help.
Yeah,
Get us
totally.
there. Help us get there.
Tell your friends.
You gotta know at least 2 more people.
Everybody knows 2 people.
I know you would abuse that sentiment. I was like,
my wife was talking. She like plays video games with her friend Allison, who lives in Missouri, and they play Phasmophobia and things like that online with each other. And I was like, I bet your friend Allison has a Twitch channel or like watches Twitch streams. And so I heard my wife talking with Allison upstairs. I was like, tell Allison to subscribe to our Twitch channel. And I was like, do you have a Twitch? Do you watch things on Twitch? Yeah. All right, go to Double Drop Down and subscribe.
so we're up to 48. We're at our 48.
All right, tell me about this nuclear
right,
reactor AI. Yeah, there's the violin.
That's the violin sound. Oh, good call. All right. In going with the theme of what we were talking about, we're going to talk about the article. Okay. There was this article about Microsoft needs so much power to train its AI that it's considering small nuclear reactors. That's the name of the article. So we will be chucking this guy in the chat, and I am going to appreciate your hot takes on this, Ryan. But the general gist of it is that
I didn't read this one.
They are not necessarily making nuclear reactors yet. And what's happening is Bill Gates has been investing in a company called Terra Power, I believe it is. I can't remember the exact name. And really starting to say, there's this potential that we could use these things to start to power our AIs. So they're small modular reactors is what they were looking at. And there is so much power that it takes to do that this would be a way to be able to power the AI of the future. So if you imagine how much we're escalating on what we're doing with AI, it's going to take a crazy amount of power. And we're like global warming, all these other terrible things that are happening on the earth. And so what's a way to do that? Now, I don't know what your take is on nuclear. That could be a polarizing conversation already.
Sure.
But when we start to think about it, that might be one of those other options. Terra Power, that's what it is. Bill Gates started an incubator for these small modular reactors, and it's called Terra Power. Does that give you an in for the future? That is it right now. It's just basically saying takes a lot of power.
Yeah.
Bill Gates is investing. Why is he investing in these smaller things, likely because there's a lot to think about when you do these kinds of.
I am
projects.
pro alternative power sources. You do not use coal or things that we need to dig up from the ground like fossil fuels. So I'm great with, nuclear, like doing these tests. Let's figure it out. Maybe we'll find some kind of great thing that we can do small reactors like this. I feel like they've been trying to do this for a long time, haven't they? Like have non-gigantic, nuclear powered reactors that don't take a massive cooling tower for everything, right? And so if we've gotten to the point in technology where like we can make those smaller and we can make those more easier to create, because it costs like billions of dollars to make each one, and I feel like if they were sort of smaller and easier to do, and you didn't risk melting down an entire city, like it was more like melting down just your entire house, I guess,
I don't
then
know
maybe that would be fine.
I don't even know how big a small one would be.
I mean, I assume it's smaller than a giant Homer Simpson, nuclear power plant.
It looks
right?
like it's like jammed in the ground as well, so you could like flood it with
yeah,
water and stuff.
sure.
So you would think there's maybe some security around it.
Yeah.
But I think it just starts to show you where we're headed as a society, and we start thinking about the concept of AI. Like you
Yeah.
got to also acknowledge that it's going to take some power to do the damn thing.
Totally. Well, they talked about this with Bitcoin, right? Is they were like, I read all these articles that were like, Bitcoin is ruining the environment because they have to do all this computing power, which uses all of this electricity, and it's still mostly electricity born by fossil fuels, right? And so that was an easy story to write because like, Bitcoin, we could throw that under the bus as being like a weird thing that anyway, but like I feel like it was easy to throw that under the bus, whereas AI, we're like, no, full steam ahead with AI. Who's gonna figure that stuff out first? More of that.
Oh, and because
so
we need it, right?
Totally.
I mean, well, okay, need is a strong word.
I mean, I might say that if you want to solve climate change and things like that, that like having a super smart AI there to figure out some of those things doesn't feel like a bad helper for that.
Good points, and I think about going back to the theme of Herbert Simon, and his original intention was to learn more about humans and understand that, and it was really interesting because like his concepts too were that humans are lazy creatures, and we have to really have things that push us to like come up with things that make our lives easier, and so we create these reactors or whatever to also then make these really crazy models that then help us make our lives easier.
Yeah. I feel like it's all in the service of making life better for everyone.
Until capitalism like screws us, and that
or the AI takes over. Anyway,
it philosophical rabbit hole again.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly.
I still believe that part of us doing this stream right now and putting VODs together is so that we are helping that future AI overlord that's going to take over when I'm long dust, and they are pulling out some things. They're going to be talking about how AI is so cool from back in the 2000s.
Imagine, how we were recreating Adam's voice, right? And recreating Adam's face and stuff, like in talking, when our grandkids are like coming in and we're dying and we're being like, hey, take all of that footage that you have of Adam and Ryan and like recreate a little Adam and Ryan for it so that they could talk to their grandpa who's now dead. I'll be like, yeah, cool. I can live long as an AI representation of me.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, little boy.
No, I'll have a cool now voice.
Yo, what's up, kid?
What's up?
That's right.
It's
Boom.
Grandpa in the house. Bow, 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 bow.
Give me
and
some.
then be like, ugh, God, turn off Grandpa AI, Grandpa Ryan AI. Jesus.
Oh.
All right. I think so do you want to talk about this next story?
You brought this one in. We got to be careful because we're going to get copyright stuff on this one.
Okay,
so.
well, we just won't play the track to it. So one thing that came up in the news is, and Disturbed Shifty talked about this in the last episode, which we didn't even comment on as it came through in the chat, but
Punks, jeez.
I know, geez, I'm throwing us under the bus for not commenting on chat. But like what? So last week or 2 weeks ago, we showed the MLB.com their showing of their like 3D baseball game, which was LiDAR or something like that, capturing the exact movements of baseball players at the exact moment of a live game, and then sort of Second Life style, everyone's running around with their 3D characters and watching it from whatever angle. Okay. So now, yes, Disturbed in the chat. The last week they had a Toy Story version of this, which I don't understand that collaboration or whatever. This is what we decided as the thing, but they broadcast an NFL game between two teams.
The entire thing.
The entire thing, and it was broadcast, and it was, it was basically future. Themed like Toy Story, and it had so if you could hear it, which we won't play it because we're gonna get DMCA'd or whatever.
We probably get just from the video itself,
but what it is like it's just the commentary of a normal football game in the background. We're like,
and this
oh,
is real
they're passing
time.
it to him, and it's real time. Like every, with him being like, yeah, and then bumping into him, and then walking away, and him like putting his gloves back on or whatever. Like all of that is the exact movements of those things. But then it has all these like Toy Story elements to it. And then like little quizzes and little things.
It's to get the kids involved,
I guess, right? Like, or here's
God.
what I was thinking. It sort of takes away the bad parts about football that they don't want you thinking about, which is like grown ass adults like hitting each other way harder.
That's what it's all about. That's the awesome part.
Yeah, but like that is what is going against a lot of like parents and things like that are like, no, I'm not gonna put my kid. I don't want to watch this. Like football, it's like they're hurting each other and giving each other concussions all the time. But if they're like these fun little chibi, characters from Toy Story with that stuff, I feel like it softens it.
Yeah. It softens it, but I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I think there's a huge following of football fans out there that they would do that. But I would say it's just trying to get that new audience, right? Like,
it's trying to, but
tiny
like
kid, you're like, here, you watch this version of the game that
I
Daddy's
guess,
watching.
But then what is so is it just because it's animated then? Because it's not like I could see if the commentary over the top of it was more kid focused, right? Like if it was like, hey, and then he threw it over to that guy and like they did a great job, totally made it to the second down, isn't that fun? But it's still like, oh, and the so and so is like 3-7 this year with a 2.7.6 throwing percentage or whatever, which like kids don't care about. So I don't know.
Sissies is right.
Well, no way. It's like, oh, all right. We don't have to get into a full. Is the NFL
this is the debate,
a legitimate sporting thing, which I feel like it is going. It isn't like participation in youth football way down.
Because I wouldn't say so.
I think it is, and it's because it's like concussions and things like that.
I mean,
that
to
go
be
into
completely
it,
honest,
right?
like my son was like did not want to get a concussion,
Sure.
and so yeah.
And so I would say that this feels like a thing that they would try to do to soften that up for kids.
I don't think it's about softening whatsoever. I think it's about like creating new avenues to get people engaged with it. Because what if I was just like, yeah, whatever, Toy Story. I want to do like sweet Starfield version.
Halo, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Or Star Wars. Yeah, because so I would say that this technology, they're doing it because the technology is ish there, right? And imagine, like I was watching some plays of like MLB The Show and stuff, like brand new baseball games, and I was like, they look pretty good, like that. I mean, it looks pretty realistic and everything. I was like, imagine that technology. Imagine when it gets up enough that you could take that technology where it's real life and map it onto those amazing looking characters with that lighting and all of that stuff. And I was like, man, they're just getting ready for that inevitable future where we can have those great graphics in with that stuff. And I think it's going to be neat.
Okay, so now I'm starting to think about it. It's like, what if you watch a play and you know how you always want to like rewatch the replay, and we already can see that you can probably go rewind, watch things again. Like, what if you were like, oh, that sucked. What if you would have just caught that ball? Cool. Let me play that play over
Oh,
again.
sure, right,
So
yeah.
I could go and do that.
Now it's just Madden, but you're watching the real thing, and then you're like, let me take over. That was bad. Like, they lost, so rewind it back to the third quarter and let me take over for the second half.
Yeah, and so it was Disturbed that was telling you about the whole thing.
Yeah.
We went to the Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah,
That I wasn't invited to because I actually dipped out that first time, so
there you go.
I was punked out.
Stop punking out.
Hey, it was exhausted, man.
I get it, but you know,
It's I
you
know
can't-
how hard
you
it
can't
is.
then bitch about it. You
I-
can't then come back in and be like, no one's inviting me to things.
I know how hard it is to text and say, "Hey, we're just re-upping that next week." I mean, it's tough. Those thumbs smacking on that thing that's so far away from you, 24/7.
It's true.
I get you.
Look, it's way over here now. I can get to it.
Hey, so I don't know if we want to go here. It's 9:09, which I think we have plenty of time to do
I
this.
think we're good.
So if you hadn't heard, and I'm just gonna we could probably hit this up and then be done with it. Is that
Sure.
Meta is coming out with something new, and actually, they have spent I think it's $36 billion on VR. So
Yep.
transition to VR here. You got what's his name? I don't even Marky Mark. Is that
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg?
You're like, is his name Marky Mark? No, that can't be right.
Yeah, wait a second. But he does MMA stuff, I'm pretty dang sure.
That's true.
So in any case, this dude has been pushing the VR stuff.
Yeah.
$36 billion
Totally
invested
bought
in.
in. Yep.
I was reading some article, and I can't remember how much, but they said like last year they made like $400 or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
quite literally. They
Totally.
spent $36 billion and made $400.
R&D.
I have been saying this from day one. I'm telling you that I thought this thing was going to go this direction, and it is. And it's AR. And we've said this.
Yeah.
AR
Yeah.
is where it's going.
Totally.
Because Adam and Ryan are awesome. I mean, no, it's
Boom.
augmented reality. And so I think what we're going to take a quick peek at is augmented reality version of this little video. So let's check this
You
out.
want to translate a sign that's in front of you to know what it's saying, or if you need help fixing this sad leaky faucet, you can basically just talk to Meta AI and look at it, and it'll walk you through it step by step how to do it. We built in one more feature into these smart glasses. You are going to be able to live stream to your friends and
What?
followers from
heard
your
this?
glasses.
This is
Great.
us.
Everybody is ready to race, and I am getting ready to. Let's go.
Wait, he's doing it from his phone.
And then
Okay.
he's switching
Share
over.
what you're doing live with your friends and followers while staying completely in the moment is the kind of thing that you can only do on smart glasses. So, all right.
Yeah,
these
I see all the
Ray-Ban
terrible
smart
things.
glasses, we're launching them on October 17th, starting at $299, and I'm
not
really looking forward to
a
seeing what you
lot.
all think of them.
And the Ray-Bans, I'm going to get
Next
some of
generation.
those.
So here, I watch this. I watch the longer version of this. I feel like these product announcements always look super slick with the stuff that they're showing of like how crisp the video is.
Yes, that's
and
true.
how amazing, how simple it is and how quick it does the thing. And I feel like that never is the actual case. So if that is the case, then super cool. Then that seems like the cool next thing. If it's a tiny jittery camera that is like live streaming and only does it when you have the most amazing like Wi-Fi in that building that is no one else is using and stuff, and it's like only works in these very particular, like if I'm looking at the sink and being like, oh hey, like what thing is this, and then it just goes like, well, that's a sink I guess, and here's how to fix sinks. I'm like, I suppose. But hey, it's always one of those things where the first version of stuff like sucks, right?
I just love that was the best they could come up with.
Yeah.
Like fixing a freaking sink that's
It doesn't-
leaky.
I
But
don't
there
know.
were some great insights in the chat. So they're pivoting to what Microsoft have been doing for years. So
Yeah, that's true.
Microsoft, you could even go as to Google. Google
Right.
Glasses was a thing.
Yep.
I was almost in the pilot. I got into the pilot for Google Glass.
Oh, that's right. And then you decided not to buy them, right?
Well, because they were going to be $1,800 freaking
Oh, were
dollars.
they? Wow.
And then I went in and I found out that it was going to cost them, I think it was $80 to build Google Glasses. They were using
It's all R&D.
It was R&D. You were investing in that. You knew that.
Right.
But and they've done that. And then then Microsoft, is it like HoloLens or is
Yeah,
it just
HoloLens.
and then so I agree.
And
yeah.
and the new like Quest, the Quest 3 is coming out, and it has augmented reality stuff in it too. So I mean, that's like we knew always that it was going to augmented reality, right? Like it was never going to stay in VR. It was always going to be something where you could see the real life and you can add stuff on top of the real life. If the only thing that this does is it recognizes my voice and does a Google search based on my voice and shows that in tiny little like bubbles overlaid on my vision, maybe that is a fine first step, but it feels like I'm not going to be an early adopter of that one.
Not one. But then, honestly, everyone's like, "Oh, great. Little hidden cameras in there
that I bring into the locker room, right?
Oh yeah,
and now before it was super obvious that I was filming people and holding my phone up, and now it isn't.
You're just looking at oh, whoops, I didn't mean that.
Yeah. So yes, definitely a lot of privacy stuff going into those things, and they need people to build augmented reality fun things to do in there too, right? Like, I can only Google so many things by saying it out loud. Plus, I hate talking out loud necessarily to my phone. People need to figure out a better way to interact with things.
Yeah, you should be like a big thing that shoves into my head so I can think about it like a little probe that hits my brain.
So some kind of tiny keyboard, perhaps, that is on my phone.
Yeah. Well, still, you have to touch things then,
That's
Ryan.
true.
That's for peasants.
I just want to think about it. Next year.
I like the idea of AR. All I'm saying is I actually was more excited about that than any VR stuff that I've done. Other than the pandemic, I was like, cool, let me go try this.
Totally.
And so that was the first time I was like, okay, well, maybe I can try that out.
I'm hopeful for AR. I don't think we're there yet. I love that Facebook just is deciding to pour billions of dollars into the research and development.
You know what's kind of interesting too is how come they've become like the savior lately? Yeah, nobody gave a crap about Meta, but then when Twitter became like the cesspool that it is,
and then they did Threads, right?
Yeah,
and then they got a bunch of great publicity from that.
Yeah, tracking your hand movements, interacting with things like. I totally could see it working for a lot of educational applications. But you're right. If you have to, here's the deal. What you just said is who's programming for that? They need to make it easy as crap the program for some cool GUI.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Talking about cool programs and things, maybe that's our next project. We're gonna make some VR stuff, right? Man, how would that
feels
good?
that feels intense. But when this is our full-time job, the Patreon hits off.
Hey, I'm saying if we can get this thing going, that would be hella fun to do some good projects because
the Corridor Boys or whatever that is. Have you heard of that?
I have not heard of this. What is it?
Disturb Shifty posts stuff like that in the chat. They just do.
Oh yeah.
They just do cool projects and film them and put YouTube videos out.
So that's what I was gonna say is that. We don't have to know everything.
Yeah.
We got experts out there that we can kind of pull in and start to have some conversations with.
Totally.
And I think that's where we want to take some of this is that I love to learn things. And so we're going to get into the projects. We have a couple that were on the plate.
Yeah.
Do you have the two
I do.
that you were going to talk about? So let me just introduce a potential idea.
Okay. Is that where we're transitioning to?
Yeah, we'll do that. But let me, because I don't want this to be part of the discussion, so to speak.
Okay.
Oh, we do. Should we talk about ControlNet first?
We should do Extra Life too at some point.
We're getting close to our project discussion. So we have a couple projects that are coming out. So let me give you maybe a teaser of an idea.
Okay.
Is that we were very myopic. And if you don't know what that means, it means we were very focused and single-mindedly playing on the board game, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we did the entire last kind of beat since January. Actually, January was when we started that. I love the concept of having a theme thing. Also, and I said this to you earlier, if you watch animes and things like that, they have the main storyline that goes through.
Sure.
But then they always have a little side episode or a couple
Right.
things that are in there. And so one of the ideas I was thinking about, why don't we try to write an AI algorithm? And so before you say much about that, I have somebody that's willing to teach us. And I had a conversation literally last night about the feasibility. I was like, all right, if two people that know nothing about AI
Right.
wanted to write an algorithm,
And are not computer scientists.
how could we do it? And they're like, give me some examples of what you're looking for. And so I said, well, what if we wanted to have people play through the board game, make an AI that plays through our board game? And they're like, how complex is it? So I started to show all the different images that were on our website, and they're like, you'd have to scale it back to probably just the first move of flipping a tile and then turning and creating a pathway.
Okay.
So they said they thought that within 56 to about 70 lines of code, Python probably, we could create an algorithm that would allow us to kind of look through and pathfind and create something to work on our game.
They would just be constantly playing. I like the idea of creating a program that is like play testing our game for us and being like, hey, like it ran into thing, or look how long the game takes each time, or look at where it keeps
you
like
couldn't do the whole game. They're like they're like you do the whole
really?
game. He's like every single level of complexity it would create it way more. So let's take the very simple aspect of just that first thing of you can flip a thing and then turn it 90.
Sure.
And those are the simple set of rules. And then what we would have to do if we had no data set is we would have to create kind of a tree, a decision tree to say at every move, as many moves as we can give it. Let's say we took 4 tiles instead of the entire 9x9 or 8x8 grid, and we took 4 and we gave every possible scenario with 4 tiles.
Okay.
And we had to go and map that out. That becomes our data set.
Okay.
And then we could feed this to this algorithm we create.
Yeah.
That would allow us to, it would start to cycle through all the different options, and you can create some things with it. I don't know, just an idea.
I like the idea of doing some kind of algorithm that does something. It feels worthless to do it for just like a single part of a single section of a game. But like, I feel like if there was, I feel like there could be a cooler thing if all we're gonna do is something simple for it. Like we could chat GPT us up some fun different.
So this guy literally builds these kind of AIs.
Yeah. Oh, I love the idea of having experts come in and teach us things.
The thing that he got to though was like he used tic-tac-toe as the example. He's like that is about the level of complexity that you'd want to get to with the amount of work you would do that.
Is that AI or is that just like a program?
It's AI, an algorithm that kind of learns. And so you give it a certain amount of data to say, here is kind of the main data set that you could flip this over and you can turn it every single move.
Yeah.
And then you increase that to the size of an 8x8 grid
right.
and then run it on that so then it can run through all those scenarios.
Yeah.
And so I actually like the idea that number one, we use our game that we created using AI.
Sure.
So you build a sweet little AI around it.
It keeps building.
And it's a
on
cool little pathfinding one. Like you
Sure.
can make it just on the pathfinding. It may even be like a sub game of the game. So anyways, I don't want to say that's our project because
Sure.
I think but that could be a cool little like side mission that we do.
And like it
what
could
do
be
you think, chat.
It could be a thing where even when he has time, like maybe we schedule him in to come in, and write and zoom in and talk to us or whatever, and then we spend that entire time like figuring it out and doing the board. It's like you said, it's sort of the B storyline. I like that idea too.
Yep. Eric is on deck for it. Shook
Nice.
his hand and he even reminded me
oh,
to like, hey, I'll be on your show when you're ready. I was like,
all right,
in.
perfect, nice.
So
he's he's in if he's reminding you for him to be on the show.
And his girlfriend, again, just to remind you, I mean, he's a PhD and has PhD in physics, like very smart. His girlfriend is also getting her PhD in studying particles on on the moon Titan. Is that Saturn? I think it is Saturn's moon Titan. Anyways, that's crazy. There's people that studying like things on
Jupiter,
moons. Jupiter, maybe. Well, a moon. Somebody, if you could help us, where's Titan? Which moon is Titan? They, I guess, crashed a probe into the moon, and they only had X amount of like minutes of footage and like a couple pictures, and that crashed and some data that they pulled out of it, and that was it. And that's what her entire PhD is like focused on doing that. That's amazing. Cool. Like the fact that
that's what science is, right? It's like taking some tiny little itty bit of something and dedicating your whole life to it.
I mean, and that's awesome. So it's Saturn. I was right. Saturn's moon, Titan. So good luck to her. I think she's going to do some postdoc research somewhere. So
On Titan. I heard.
on Titan, she's flying out there in a new Meta headset made by Mark.
Old Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
Jibber.
Jibber jabber.
Jibber.
All right, what are we going to do? ControlNet subliminal AI?
Yeah,
You wanna talk
I
about
like this one. I feel like this one was fun. This was the most fun one that I of the news articles that you chose.
I like how this one I guess there's a way that you could actually use this too. Like I haven't used it either. Wait, what does that one say? Oh wait, you don't want to show that one on the thing.
Yeah, who cares?
I don't want to show that one. This
Why?
is a family show.
Oh, come on.
Wait, what's this one?
Yeah, so I like that
I like
one.
this
I
one.
like
All
that
right, we're
one.
going to go to this one.
So so do you want to explain what this is?
Go for it. I want you to go for it.
Okay, so this is just basically saying that, like, hey, they figured out that for some of these large language models of doing these generated images, that you can do sort of optical illusions in them.
Can anybody see that? Squint your eyes if you're looking
just sort of
at
like
this.
glance at it, just kind of like glance at it and glance back, or squint your eyes. I feel like if you squint, you can
Yeah.
really see it. It should spell out a word, basically. And what they've done is they figured out that you could sort of tell it to say thing, and then it'll build it into an actual image like this. And so people are freaked out, of course, because they're like, oh my God, it's just going to be, propaganda from someplace. Everyone's going to put out all these images and it's going to be telling me to like, join the Communist Party or whatever. And like, I think it is a super cool and different way of using this type of stuff. It makes me think like what I've hated over the last 6 months is that a lot of what we're seeing with these like AI generated images just ends up being, here's fun images, right? Like here's cool images. And it's what the complaint that I had when I went to the state fair and showed up, and all of the AI stuff, like from Jason Allen and even other people who are sort of like, you could tell, sort of using Midjourney to come up with ideas, still just sort of paintings, right? Like just sort of images and nothing further than that. And I feel like that's not taking advantage. That's like still thinking about it in the old way of how people paint and take pictures and stuff. Whereas unless you really set things up, there'd be no way that you'd be able to take a picture that looks like Obey of people in black coats, right? But that's like such a different way that like a computer who's creating those types of images can come up with that type of stuff. And so then it's like, oh, that's like the next layer of interesting, right? Of what does interactive stuff look like? What is moving picture? What is like stuff that a normal human being artist could never make? Right? Leave normal like mech Pikachus to the artists that make amazing mech Pikachus, right? But making a mech Pikachu that also like, spells out something or does something behind, like some interactive, some sort of other interesting and creative aspect to it is sort of like how the human side gets in a little bit more, which I love in this. McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I didn't want to show the other one just because it's a family show, but I like the idea that like, yeah, there's a big M, and that one's pretty evident. But there was another one I had. I think it did say like send nudes or something like that.
Yeah,
it was like cats. But like if it's big on a screen, it's really hard to see until you get like you kind of zoom out or you squint your eyes and do those kind of things.
Yeah, it's fun. It's sort of those different and interesting things that I'm excited to see people going forward and trying.
Is it a website? I think it is, right?
Where they're creating those?
Hold on a sec.
ControlNet is where ControlNet is the I thought ControlNet was the videos. We used ControlNet. This is what we do. We've used ControlNet on the stream before.
Was it? It says due to the large number of users, server may experience problems. Drop an image here and then put in the prompt.
Yep.
So this is what we were using it for.
I think we were using this before.
It says is a neural network structure diffusion models by adding extra conditions. The game changer. Okay. Is it just? All right, we're gonna try another one.
Throw an image in there.
Let's get
See
one
what
of
it does.
Let's use one of the ones we just used. Let's get a little meta or incestuous with this one.
We're gonna do a Midjourney floating sky city.
We're gonna do the floating sky city,
Okay.
and then let's see if we can get a work. In which movie? Oh, yeah, the food in those movies look amazing. So we got an image in there, and that's Sky City. And what do you want to say?
I don't know. I don't even know exactly what we're doing.
Advanced options, number of. Oh yeah, you're right. It's getting like
ads all up in this, in the way of the thing.
That's terrible. What were they thinking when they made this? They were thinking of money, weren't they?
Dude.
Number of images 1, image resolution, threshold, scale. Oh yeah. There must be a formula that you have to cook this up with. Like, so, like,
just type in
make it say. Wait, what did Disturb have to say about that? I saw something. Studio Ghibli style.
Oh yeah.
Okay, make it say. I wonder if there's a way to do that. Like,
no, like, isn't this going to control the image? Like, it's going to end up with a video at the end, right? So can we have like spaceships flying around or something?
Okay. I didn't know it was going to create a video. I thought we could like there's a way to, yeah, it looks like it is.
It's going to be like that ship in the background. Double drop down.
Let's voice train this thing.
Let's voice train this ship. Gibber.
Oh, that would be sweet. So there's got.
That's what we need. That's what we need. We need Gibber to be built into this scene.
Oh
right?
man, that's the thing. When we push the button, it lights up the Gibber sign or something in the back.
Gibber.
I think Gibber.
I got to do Gibber into a scene.
Nice.
Like these. That'll be fun.
So we thought that this would put a word in there, but this one is actually not going to do that. So we have to do something. There's a way to like cook it up. Oh, you can push this button and it disappears.
Because I think what it's doing when you do that is you have to like, or I don't think it's just typing in a word. I think it's more like you're inputting an image, right? That says something that's in a certain font, in a certain size, and a certain weight. And then you're adding another image to it, or you're text doing, or you may even just be text doing to the image. But you're like, see this thing that says black words obey on a white screen? Make that a city street or something with women walking in suits. Like, I think is kind of how
that works. You're right. Good creative thoughts here. So we're just rolling the dice on this one. This is not even gonna do none of the.
We'll see what this even does, because I think ControlNet does a lot of things. This is like, and you can see how it's the same. It's literally just a Hugging Face interface. Like, I bet this is just Hugging Face, except it's embedded in their website.
All right, I'm gonna make a Gibber. What's like on fire?
Man,
the hell? Guess I'm gonna pick this one.
Okay. What did that do?
It makes it like it's a spaceship now.
Yeah, because it's like using the same.
The hell?
That one's weird.
All right, it didn't do what we were expecting to do, so I'm gonna save that though because that was really cool. But I'm gonna use this tool, and we're gonna create a word, and we're gonna put Gibber in it.
Gibber, of course.
We got to use Gibber.
Gibber.
I'll use this one.
And write it in like big, pretty bold font, if I had to guess.
And we're gonna put it. Okay, we got
all caps. Bye, Disturb. Thanks for hanging out.
It's been fun.
Totally.
Gibber. And I guess it doesn't really matter
something big and thick. Yeah.
I'm just gonna use that.
Totally.
There's the new Gibber font.
Okay. Berlin Sands. Okay. Yeah, try that.
So I'm gonna export this word and see if we. Do you think it would do it in Midjourney? Oh, you can't load.
Can't load an image and then do off of it.
So that's why we're.
That's why this is all Hugging Face stuff, because it's shady.
But I think ControlNet is where everyone was thinking they would do this. Okay, so
is that what it said in the article?
It did.
Okay, let's try it. Now, what do we want this turned into? Like a messy gamer room or something.
gamer room. I'm gonna go with it.
Sure.
Let's just do it.
Let's try it.
Because I'm curious to see if it's even a. Yeah, because it didn't make it a video.
No. Yeah, and I thought that's what ControlNet had been doing, but maybe I was wrong. I might need another splash of whiskey.
You go do that.
Do you need any?
I'm good right now.
You're probably like jet lagged, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. I don't doubt it. What do we got? 28 seconds? Tell the 28-second story.
28-second story about gibber. I jibber jabber the jibber jibby. Yeah. I'm not. My brain is not functioning on that kind of. Oh, I actually do have something to do. So when we were at our leadership kind of thing that I was working through at Pittsburgh, is they had us come up with individual words that we had to tell a story, like improv a story off these words. So we had like a team of us that had to write words on paper, and then we had to come up with a story. So I'm gonna go grab those words.
Ooh.
Well, this one, and
then I can come up with the story.
You can come up with the story, and I figured we could chat GPT the story too.
Oh yeah, that's great. Leadership development stuff, because I am also in the world of leadership development. And I wonder, because we have a platform that people come in and they write in answers, and part of it is that you hey, you got to write in real answers and have, full on stuff happening. And, you got to spend the time to do it because you get out what you get in, right? And I wonder how many people are ChatGPTing these answers. They're like, I'm busy. I don't have time for this. I will just write in, oh, it's asking me, God, what is something in your company that's like a barrier for you stopping your goal? And I'm like, how many people are just like, ChatGPT, what's a barrier? I'm the person. What's a barrier in my job that's keeping me from my goal? And then writing out 2 sentences and being like, copy and paste that into my leadership development program. Like, you better not be. I agonized over those questions.
Hey, I put myself into this thing. I just want to let you know. So I've been very good, because this exercise was about being spontaneous. And so if you had a bunch of words, like how quickly can you react and how can you put a story around things?
Okay.
So while we're waiting for this guy, the words were clown.
Wait. What are you doing with these words again? Making a story?
So you had to just everyone randomly put words on a sheet of paper.
What words which one of those is yours? Communication?
No, mentality.
Lame.
Well, yeah, it was. It was just
whoever put burrito was the best person.
They did.
Burrito, clown burrito.
Clown, Imperium, growth.
What is Imperium?
Haunted, burrito, communication, and mentality. So Imperium, guess who put Imperium on there? Our good friend Mike Azul.
What is Imperium?
It has to do with like a developed society, like or something like, I think like New York City or something that's high.
Did you just hang out with your buddy Mike Azul during this entire thing?
No, and we're absolutely very intentional not doing that.
Yeah.
So because like we want to develop and build some relationships and stuff.
The whole thing is networks.
But
really.
Because there's a couple events where you have to be with your institution that you came with. And that was one of those times is where he put that in there. So it was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
But I want to look up Imperium and
haunted clown burrito.
Do you want to
the name of my new ska band?
Wait, it doesn't seem like it actually is a word. Wait.
Oh, burn! Mike Azul doesn't even know words. I'm gonna talk crap about him because he's not in the chat. He's not watching.
He's
He's in Pittsburgh. He's not watching.
It's a American crime. Oh wait, no, not that one.
Just teasing you, Mike. You're great.
You're the best, man. It was a form of authority held by a citizen to control a military or governmental entity.
That's what you decided to write in the fun multi-word.
He wanted to put Imperium in there. Everyone asked him what Imperium is. So we said, hey, I was going on a walk and I found a really delicious burrito, but then a clown jumped out and scared the hell out of me and I died. So then I decided to haunt the various park that we were in, and it was Imperium Park. But then we figured
You're
out
just like, I just made it the noun, the name of something.
But then we couldn't figure out how to communicate with the humans so that we could scare them. And so we needed to have a mentality of growth so that we could come out and be able to do
nice.
that.
It's like the Beetlejuice story. You got to have a growth mentality if you want to scare those humans.
So that was the whole thing. Yeah, it was like you had to then
Great.
quickly turn around a story based, and then that
sounds like a bunch of great leadership BS if I had to.
Well, the idea is that have you ever been in a moment where somebody says something and you just want to have that reaction and you always regret it. You're like, it would have been so great if I said that.
If I had said this one thing.
Yeah, and so this is them trying to like get you to practice that, to start to say like something and get something to start. So
totally. Yeah, yes anding, right?
Yes and.
Okay, here it comes.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Not as cool as I had hoped, but
I just got gibbered. Damn it. I mean, it definitely. This one has some.
It has something. It's like the word and in part of it.
We're gonna go with it because we got to keep gibber is the theme of the show. This has got to be on our site. Gibber. All right, let's get into this. We can deal with this one later. We got to talk about some other stuff tonight. Right?
Yeah. Oh, we got multiple things still to talk about.
All right. So where we're at. So Ryan,
clown burrito.
We could talk about the clown burrito.
Gross. I'm not ordering that off the late night menu at Taco Bell.
I don't understand what happens with that. Well, it's full of bull gibber.
Bull gibber is a good one. Gibber seems like a good curse word replacement. We use a lot of those at our house. Shuck.
Shuck?
Yeah, we were reading a book that used it was like a middle school book, or a high school book, and they replaced a lot of words in this dystopian future with like pretend words, and so they would say shuck face, and stuff like that. You're like, all right, that's a good one.
That's a decent word.
Yeah.
All right, so you got to introduce this one, and I'll bring up the.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Geez, I'm showing people like
You're
behind
showing.
the
Oh
scenes.
man, behind the
heck?
scenes.
Wow,
That's
man.
the inner workings of our
our amazing
WordPress
thing.
website. So Adam and I, we're still doing this, right?
I'm pretty sure we're doing this. Stealth Mouth, do I have permission to do this?
I know, right? I asked Kathy. She was like, I guess you guys are whatever.
We may need help for like getting food and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to order food. The whole thing is like doing that on stream, asking people what they... Anyway, okay. Back to the beginning. We are thinking about doing the Extra Life stream. We've signed up for the pro version of Extra Life stream. And what Extra Life is Extra Life is like... basically a charity stream that they do every year, and they've expanded it through lots of different parts of the year. But the big one is in November. It's November 4th, and it's a Saturday, and it's 24 hours of straight streaming that you do, and you try to gather donations. And it's for a children's hospital. I can't remember. Do we have the name of the exact children's hospital? Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. And they raise a ton of money, and they get a bunch of donations, and we have it up on our website, and we have a specific pledge page that you can go to. And part of this is we're going to be streaming for 24 hours straight at Adam's house, and 24 hours is a lot of time to fill up. So we have like the infinity mirror of us on our page, because it does have our Twitch stream channel embedded into it. But what we want, so part of this is, yay, this sort of the first, announcement of it. We want people to be able to like go and give money. We've obviously raised $0 because we haven't been talking about it very much, but I would love to start talking to it about people, because I watched some of the videos, they've been like sending us videos about the stuff and how it was sort of created, which is all very like inspiring and stuff. Like, I'm definitely into giving children in hospitals who can't afford their medications and hospital bills and stuff, like the care that they need in this capitalist society that requires money for children to be sick, and so what I want to do is talk about like maybe things that we want people to suggest that we do during 24 hours. Like, likely we will play video games. Likely we will work on whatever project that we come up with, right? Like, that'll, like, I think a great, like, working session on the project would be amazing. People could, like, see us working in real time through something.
Because how we talk it through.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you'll see our creative process.
Yeah, like the whole creative process, and just be like, hey, we're going to have blocks of hours of, like, I mean, I could even see it like setting it up as like a sprint, right? And so you'd be like, we're going to sprint during the first 2 hours to like get this thing done. And then we're going to play video games for a couple hours. And then we're going to do a second sprint that is like getting this part of the project done. And I feel like that could be a cool, like, you could see us doing it on the channel, you know, in real time, but also get us into the project and like moving forward on it, which we'll need to do. Cause this one I feel like will be more complicated even than the board game.
It's, well, I would love to not like super plan for like starting fresh from this one.
Yeah.
It might be really fun.
Totally. And so anyway, so we'll probably be talking about this over the next few, you know, shows. And then at some point we'll have, it'll be in the in-between week. I checked it out on the schedule.
Oh.
So, like, we won't have a Thursday show and then a Saturday show right afterwards. It'll be like a Thursday show and then, you know, the weekend. And then that next weekend that we have the off week, that Saturday will be the show. So we'll figure out exactly. It's the in-between week, which is perfect.
This is going to be kind of what it might be like.
Oh, God. Don't, like, I was like, oh my God. I feel like I can't, this like, this literally warped me when I first saw this for the first time. Now you got to play it, but like, it really, I was like, I can't unsee that, South Park. Thank you.
Bathroom. Oh God. Oh. All right. That's we're going to stop on that one.
Yeah. Now we're going to be talk about being DMCA'd.
Oh man. Yeah. But it's all for good cause.
Yeah.
It's honestly, and I'm behind it. And so $500 is what we're going for.
Yeah.
I know it's like everyone's doing this that's a streamer at the same time is
at
the thing.
That's the whole thing is like people switching between stream. Like we'll have the hashtag extra life in there. You know, we want like part of it is like you come in and, you know, maybe you get $5 or $10 or whatever towards the cause, but it's sort of like, hey, Ryan and Adam, like, good job. Like, keep going, right? Like, we're going to need the encouragement to be up for 24 hours.
And working in nap times. We should have like a stream nap room.
No. Like, that's the whole thing.
Sleeping.
No nap times. It is only Red Bull and food and working and video games.
Oh my God.
No sleeping that 24 hours.
But you,
that's
no. That could be part of it though, is that like you literally stream yourself sleeping.
That's
like that
weak.
would be no, and then like you would take a break, and so when you go to sleep, then I'll like draw little like mustaches.
Oh yeah,
on
exactly.
You.
Oh,
It'll be
mustaches.
a good time.
Mustaches.
You
That's
know,
what you draw on someone's face when they fall asleep at a party.
Absolutely.
What else would you draw? What else would you draw on
Oh,
someone's
you know,
face?
like eyebrows.
Yeah.
and smiley
funny little
face.
words on their
Yeah,
faces.
just like what everyone would do.
Whatever. Just like what a middle school sleepover will be.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is coming up. I'm excited about it. I've never done anything like this. Like I've never like done a stream for that long. It feels like a fun, different thing. Raise money for a good cause. Sort of get us out of our
down.
comfort zone. Let us like stream stuff that we wouldn't ever have time for or do on the stream. I feel like it's gonna be fun. Look out for more.
I think it'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, I have blog posts coming up about it pretty soon. It's gonna be great.
You know what I was thinking is the chats that we've been seeing here. What they should be in the middle, shouldn't they? Whoa, hold on a second.
No, they should be on the left.
Just like they were. All right. I know it was black screen for a second.
I think usually they're on the left here. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
they're on the left right here. But normally there's not as many, so they're not like covering your face.
I have an ugly face, so it all
you
makes sense.
know, whatever. That makes sense. All right.
No, I love that. Extra Life, more, check it out. We'll probably put a blog post that way we can get over to it.
Yeah. And I would love to raise some money for kids in need. Okay, next thing. Do you want to do board game finale, or do we want to just skip into the next project?
I think we just got to talk about this could be quick. So we've got to the end point of.
So it's still not, yeah, like I don't even know when was the last time I stayed up for 24 hours.
Let me think.
College?
Yeah, this last week as I've been going around. Pretty much.
Right now, I'm on 27 hours,
yeah.
mofos.
No, I mean, I'm pretty damn close. I went to bed at like 1 o'clock and woke up about 4:30. So,
hey, okay.
And this is a straight stretch.
Whatever.
Jet lagged. I'm going to go in that room. Ugh. My throat doesn't feel great either.
Straight gibbered out.
Hopefully I'm not COVIDed up.
Scoot away from
You never know.
You never know.
But my throat is like, I feel like I got all dried out on that plane and everything.
Totally.
So.
And you've been talking, I'm sure, for a lot.
For sure. But, okay. Projects.
Yeah.
And we're finishing board game.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we have a good endpoint for that. We've been talking up a playthrough.
Yeah.
What I
live playthrough outside of this room.
So so the thing is, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We will tell you at a future date when we're gonna have that. We'll probably put it up as a blog post. We'll get all the details when it's downloadable. We're gonna print out another game. We're just not gonna just keep dragging this sucker out and like talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
We landed the plane. The board game is functional. It's fun. We have instructions. We have all the things we need
all
to do.
the pieces are there
It's done.
for a functional board game, I feel like.
Yeah. And so then you can go and print it out. I think we're going to do a couple test runs and see if you could print it out in just like one color for different piece types and things like that.
Yeah,
and if that works,
that's going to be my version. Cool.
No, your version is going to be a sexy version because you need a good version.
I need a sexy version.
But then we're going to have I'll have maybe the students go print out the other one.
Okay, sure.
Because what I want to do is put it on the website and then say, hey, go print this link.
Totally.
And then see if it can come out.
Yeah,
and then
because
I'll do the one for you.
Yeah, because I mean, having two colors is like switching it out at certain times and stuff. And if someone isn't a 3D printing expert like Adam Pocious, they need to be able to like take it to a library and just be like,
expert's a stretch. That's just more of like,
I mean, I would
OCD-ish kind of guy. That's what it's about.
Just more obsessed than expert.
Probably. I want to say obsessed, but just to give you an insight, like of how I do it, is I know exactly the layer, and then right at the moment that I should slow it down because it's getting close to swap to the next layer. Like it's gonna take some time to get your version.
Totally.
So
it's not just yanking it out and putting it in the next color.
It's very intentional.
Totally, of course, like all things in life.
Absolutely. What are we doing for our potential? So we talked about potential algorithm coming out.
Yeah.
That's going to be something we could do. But now let's talk about
so in the last couple episodes we had talked about, hey, what is going to be the next project that we work on? Because we love the idea of us collaboratively working on something creative, something we could just give away. Typically something that is just like has no commercial, like ties to it that we have to figure out and everything. It's more like, hey, what is like a cool amazing project that we want to work on together? And we came up with a bunch of ideas, right? Oh, we could do a different type of board game, we could do a Kiwi crate or one of those Tinkercad whatevers, those Mark Rober sets that like are like a fun little project to put together for someone. And I feel like the two that we sort of landed on most, like if I had to say there were two that sort of came out hottest, like the people that we were talking to in the chat and things like that sort of came into two buckets. One, a video game, perhaps a Game Boy style game where we could learn a platform that like does video games. We could use ChatGPT to sort of come up with what like the theme of it was, write some of it, give us ideas to make it like an interesting mini Game Boy game or small game, use image generation AI to create like the sprites or create some of that, use these animation softwares to like animate the sprites into their simple like loops, like I was thinking like, hey, you could get a sprite of like, someone with a sword, and then you could animate it in there. Now swing his sword forward. And so we would sort of use AI, our own creativity, our own learning to build things into a video game like this. Music, all of that kind of stuff. It felt like a great way to use a lot of the different disciplines that we've been learning about. And not only that, but also expand on things, right? Because we would need to know music then. We would need to know interactive video things, stuff we've touched on but haven't really dove in too deeply about. So that was a cool one. I thought.
And I love that. And one thing to mention too about that is we can't just take like a clip and chuck it in there. Like we're gonna have to use the platform itself.
Yeah.
And figure out like, okay, it needs this, and we may have AI create this, and then we're gonna have to translate it.
And we've done a ton of like AI generated imagery, but we don't necessarily. We haven't done it where we need the same character in different, like to look the same, but be in different poses and different stuff, which we will need for this type of game, right? So that'll be a new thing for us to learn, right? Do we have to use Stable Diffusion? Can we use Midjourney for that type of stuff? Can we create a consistent character or a consistent sprite set using those types of things, which I feel like will be an interesting project to think about and do.
I like that idea. Yeah. And then Game Boy may not be the platform, even though I have a way that you can flash it onto here, and I'm going to bring this up just so we can look at this. So when we talk about Game Boy creation, there is this platform that's out there. So if we consider this, you saw me do it on a prior stream, and I was building an Evil Dead 2 version of this, and that it's not still off my plate. It's just I've got so busy. We've been doing Double Drop Down. We've been doing all these other things that I did not focus my attention on this. And so maybe it would be like readopting this idea of creating that. And I like.
Or I feel like that was it. That was like a good. You understood this platform enough to be like, here's the downsides and upsides of this platform. You know, like totally, so you could tell us, right?
Potentially doable.
Yeah.
And like the cool thing is that we could flash it to an absolute real Game Boy cartridge and play it on an actual
and 3D print it, right? Like so, because we always want to do 3D print. I feel like we have this cool 3D printed setup, so that would be sort of the 3D printed part. Was like you could make it into an actual Game Boy game that you would slide into a legit Game Boy and play. Like that's, I mean, most people probably would not play it that way. They would play it emulated in a browser, if I had to guess. But if you could, if you wanted to.
And it has the new analog thing too.
Yeah,
you can play it on.
And now we got 2 giant buttons.
Oh god,
we just figure it out with that.
So like, wait, hold on. Is there start? So enter.
There we go.
So I mean, this is playing.
Adam animated this full elephant in the background.
I did not. I did not do any of this animation. So this is.
That looks like it says "duh."
This is like This is the demo game.
Oh, okay.
So
do not feed the elephant.
So what's cool is like, I'm just showing you the gameplay for a minute. And Ryan, go ahead and this is jump, and then you can use the board. Just use that for a second. I'm gonna go back here and grab something.
Okay. Oh man, nice. My garden. I feel like this is very close to the type of thing I was thinking about.
What I was gonna say about it though is, if we do this kind of a game, we have a good prototype.
Yeah.
Like, so we wouldn't have to. Like,
this is some Mario 2 shit. There we go. Oh, but I need to like duck down and pick them up.
I don't think you can pick them up.
Yeah.
You have to jump on them. This is a family stream, Ryan. A family stream.
It's true.
How many? Can you say that on regular television?
Yeah.
You can.
Totally.
See, this has save states and things like that. So
wow.
I'm gonna switch the camera just temporarily, so you can X out of that one for a second, because I wanted to. Well, actually, go to this next part. No, go to this next part. See how it changes into a different kind of.
I'm glad, because I feel like when I saw yours, all it was this. But I love the idea of there being 2 different
You
ways.
can do multiple ways, and this one has like the whole full spectrum of it. And so I basically took this game and started like adjusting it to Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, cool.
Little rooms, like this like takes us enough that we have a good working example, but it's not enough that it's a full game. It's just a vertical slice.
Yeah. Well, and ours would probably be a vertical slice of some sort of, I was thinking event.
So this is version 1 of it, but I just wanted to just do a quick away from. Go ahead and close out of.
Yeah, it's
of
like
that.
I love how it's showing off all of the stuff, right? Like when you get to an area, it triggers like her to say something.
Actually, let me show you this then.
Do you want me to close this out?
There's something on the back table I'm going to show you in just a second, but go ahead and close it out. So what you just did, right, is if you look here, so we'll go to this piece. See the little like where you start and it takes you through in this right hand side that allows you to then like adjust those different level pieces. So you can like say, in this scene you want this like person or this kind of a thing to happen, and there's a way, and I can't even remember off, like you can move these like chunks around. So if you come in this side of the map, this is where you start, and then like if you get to this end, you go out of it,
right?
And so if I click, and I think I can hit like there's your scene characters and your triggers and all the different things that you can do. So this is a sweet platform
totally
for allowing us to like do all the stuff that we might want to do. And so you can add actors, triggers, scenes. It's very gooey.
Yeah.
And
I feel like how.
So look at what you just did. And I just wanted to kind of show you. So like, remember you stepped. I don't know if you stepped on something.
I think we jumped over him.
So there was this sign.
Yeah.
So if you click on this, it says "Welcome to GP Studio."
Yeah.
So get off my lawn.
Nice.
And this is just an example, but then if you were to go ahead and rebuild and do that, and you started the game over, you would start at that point, and then it is literally that easy. But there's a lot of little coding and little events that we could do within this platform.
And didn't you say that like the sprites in the background only have a certain amount of colors that you can use, and so then you're limited by a certain amount of colors?
You are.
And I feel like that would be great, because then we could like, that's us like vectorizing stuff or doing things and trying to reduce the amount of colors. Like I feel like that's an interesting challenge.
Get off my lawn.
Nice.
So there's like, I think that's what's cool about this, and I just wanted to show you like that gives you that full experience of what that might look like.
Yeah, cool.
And it has all these different ways. It's so little ways you can make puzzles. I think we could do a lot with this.
Yeah. So I had some other ideas for video game stuff too. Like I wrote a bunch of stuff in the Trello and everything, so we can go through that. Okay, so that is sort of possibility number 1.
And just to build on it, I got to give you a quick plug on this. Is that
the making of Prince of Persia?
Mike Azul gave this to me.
Wow.
He's like, here, happy birthday.
Nice.
And he just so I haven't even opened it, so I figured I wanted to open
unboxing, a book unboxing.
Yeah. I had not opened it yet, so I was just gonna slide it out. But apparently, what we were just talking about is this book, and I didn't know much about it. He just said that this guy had to like how he worked within the limits of what he had, and I feel like there was like a sliver in here. Yeah. And so this was his journal notes of how he made a game, Prince of Persia, which is a really fun game if you've ever played it.
Oh yeah, a classic.
So this was just like a cool way, because look, it looks like he had actual people, and
he was like rotoscoping things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was like a cool idea, because like I like the idea of having limits. And so thank you, Mike, for that guy. And thank you, Ryan, for the whiskey we've been drinking tonight.
Totally.
So everyone's so kind to me. And
so
like,
kind.
You guys are awesome for always thinking about me and doing that. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm drinking the whiskey, so it's not, completely selfless.
You're drinking it with me.
That's true.
And so that's what matters. So in any case, I just like the idea that I'm going to read that as well.
Yeah.
And learn
because
a
I feel
little
like
bit about it.
That's great. Like that's the exact process that we're going to be going through, right? Is sort of figuring things out. And
so I like that idea. What's the other idea then?
Okay. So the other idea is something that I've talked about a little bit on this show, which is like, how do we do something that feels like an art piece that takes the idea of incorporating large language models and AI generated imagery and sort of builds them into some very interesting or cool piece of like installation art, right? That could be, so we talked about Meow Wolf before, like Meow Wolf does these kind of like weird but cool and interesting like pieces of artwork that you can interact with or watch or does something. And I just feel like there's such a, I don't see a lot of this. I don't see a lot of like taking it beyond its mean and bringing it out into the real world for normal people who are not like nerds looking at subreddits and Twitter, threads about weird AI stuff to like interact with it and do something with it. And my idea was like, hey, what if we did something like that? It would probably involve 3D printing a bunch of stuff. It would probably involve Raspberry Pis or something, some sort of like computer in the background that was connected to the internet or something that was like, and cameras that was looking at you maybe, or things you were typing into something and it would be giving you stuff like, text that you're adding is like adding to something that is showing back to you, like some kind of interactive art piece.
So I like this idea. Now, I also thought like, okay, we just talked about this algorithm that we might create. Like, could that be part of it? So I do have a question about it.
Yeah.
Is it about showing the process of making it? Does that like spoil the coolness of like showing the art, or is the journey actually a cool part of what we're trying to do?
Well, I would think any of this that would be interesting would be, not only could you go back and watch us kind of talk about the entire art piece and everything, like if you were in, let's say you bought it, or let's say you saw it at an art show and you were really interested, you would be like how interesting would it be if every time you went and saw a painting, you could go to a website and see that entire painting being created from scratch, from the outline of it, how the interaction was of the artist, what did they use for inspiration for this corner of it, and now moving, like if you could see that, that would feel like that would be a cool, interesting, another
I think that's a cool
aspect of art.
Or what if that was like super meta about it and like that was integrated into the art piece?
Could be, right? Like as a streaming little animated GIF that is just like super sped up of our entire show of figuring out the entire,
or you had to recreate it,
or you,
that's the art. No,
totally. Like
can think of
all like a million different things. And what I was thinking is, then let's say we create something.
Okay.
We think it's cool. We try to pitch it and get it into the most influential art show that we can, right? And I don't know what that is. I don't even know what that scene looks like. But if we were like, this is an amazing, like part of it would be, part of the project is like creating a video that shows how cool it is or something, and then pitching it to places and trying to get it into something, and then being like, whoever buys it, we give those profits to, some charity or something like that, right? Like that is part of it. We give it away because I feel like that's a big part of the Double Drop Down show is like, we're not doing a bunch of stuff to like make a bunch of money. The fun thing is us creating things together. And so then we would be like, we try to get into a biggest place and we try to sell it for as much as we can and give it all to charity.
I think that, and I got the perfect charity, the Adam and Ryan Whiskey Fund.
That's right, exactly. Sure, maybe some of the profits go into, getting the show up, buying us a little new equipment, but a majority of it, let's say, goes to charity.
No, I mean, I love the idea. And then, like, I'm already starting to think, I'm like, what if we use the voice thing and like the other thing to like pitch it and like act like we're some crazy. We just
or like
spoiling it right now.
Like, what if it recorded? What if it was a thing and a screen and it said, tell me your greatest fear or something like that, right? And then it took your voice and created a clone of your voice, and then it created a bunch of imagery around that and looked you up on LinkedIn or on social media, and then projected back a bunch of crazy, like these are all just
that is like insane, and that would probably be really difficult.
Exactly. So all of those things. So it would be, I feel like what the process of creating an interactive art piece like this would be is that you would go into it being like, what is possible? What can we actually do? Who can help us program this Raspberry Pi so it can do what we want? Like, what are interesting topics that we can use and things like that for it? So
it's a journey in that one.
It would be a journey. It would be also the same type of like getting, stuff from experts, like, cause I want to do this with this video game, right? Like if somebody is into and they have built levels for video games or done something about like how you build storylines into interactive pieces, like I want to hear about all of that because I feel like that could also be part of the video game side.
Well, there is a guy out there named Robert Doman.
Yeah.
And he's like the guy that does GB Studio stuff. And so I'm on his his Discord right now, and he would potentially be somebody we could talk to on the video game side of it.
Totally.
I don't know if there's any what is the gibber about a Raspberry Pi?
Nice. A Raspberry Pi is like a type of tiny, like an Arduino,
okay.
is explaining a Raspberry Pi by calling an Arduino. It's like a tiny little computer that that is like super cheap, and you can program to do whatever you want. So
here's a little Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. Like, and they're small and they're useful, and they just came out with 5, the 5th version of it, which is even more powerful and even more crazy. And so those are the things that, like, if it came in and it needed to run programs and gather information and then feed it back to the user in a certain way, those are all be things that we would have to program into.
So people are going to be seeing a lot of this though.
Well, and that's another thing. Like, we would have to figure out exactly, like, can we even program a Raspberry Pi, even with help? Or do we need a computer science degree to do that?
Probably.
And so then we'd be like, okay, well, maybe it needs to be really, really simple what that does. Like, and so we would have to, all things that we would have to figure out once we like choose a direction.
Well, and see, part of my role is to make it like translatable and us making this approachable, because this is like, it's hanging out, but we don't want to like overdo it with people. And so I think the idea is that, if it gets a little too much, like, because if we're building an art piece, we would be doing our Raspberry Pi stuff, but we would probably be focused on like the functionality and the experience, and then that's where everyone would help with.
Yeah,
and then we may have
but
to
then
like
also like a 3D model of what does it fit inside, right? Like, what is the actual physical experience of interacting with this piece of art, right? Would also be a whole section of it, and how to 3D print that and paint it and all of those like real life things.
In my mind, unfortunately, at this point, I just see this like big glob of like plastic that just has like things shoved into it on all sides, like,
because you're thinking Meow Wolf, like that feels like Meow Wolf a little bit, like,
probably.
But the cool thing is like, I mean, it could be any sort of 3D model, right?
I mean,
so it could be super
it
interesting.
Only have to be 3D model. It's like, if only we had like thousands of bottle caps or something.
Right, exactly, totally. Like things like that. Adam has this amazing collection of bottle caps that he's collected for his entire life and has done nothing with. But like, so that could be part of it too, right? Like, I feel like say we're okay. So, let's say we chose the interactive art piece, right? It has way more 3D stuff. So it's a lot more 3D modeling and 3D printing than we would definitely do with the video game. It has more like programming and sort of figuring that stuff out. So maybe that's something we're interested in, and maybe not. I'm not sure exactly like how easy that stuff is to do, especially if you're going to make it interactive like that. It probably would cost a lot more because we would have to buy like a Raspberry Pi, and we would have to probably buy like a screen that would go into it, right? And we would probably have to buy like all of these other crazy things to make this actual piece of art. So it would it would be like slightly more expensive to do as opposed to a Game Boy game, right? Which is all digital.
And it doesn't have to be a Game Boy game. It could just be a game itself.
Well, and
like,
we should talk about that too, because I sort of was, I had some platforms and things like that we could possibly look into for a video game.
I don't know. I'm still on the fence between both, and I think this is the point: is that we don't walk out of this today with the idea. So I like those concepts. You know what I like about the video game is that it tells a story. Now you get a story out of the other one, but the story comes kind of at the end, kind of.
Or it's like user interpreted story, right? Or something.
Right.
And we don't know, but yeah, the video game could be more like focused story.
Now I'm a hungry gibber.
Hungry gibber. Hungry for those gibbers.
Okay. I think at the end, man.
Well, okay, so let me give you another not another choice.
Okay.
But another
Oh, this is a
aspect of
choice
this.
now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, well, I mean it kind of is, right?
All right,
Like what
fair,
we're choosing
fair.
at the end. So a part of it also was that I was thinking like it would be fun if we started right now. So it's the beginning of October, basically, right? And we went, hey, it would be great to put a deadline on it, because I feel like we didn't put a deadline on kind of the
board game?
the board game. And so it's sort of dragged out, or like I'm the type of person that does way better with, like here's the deadline that you have. You have to do things like you have to have it done by this day, right? And then it helps like draw a line and be like, it has to be done by this day. And then afterwards, we're not doing it anymore, right? And so that I think could be around an event that happens like maybe in the spring.
I actually have an idea.
Okay, so I wrote down a bunch of ideas. So I feel like we just have a whole bunch. We just sort of, throw out a bunch of ideas and sort of figure out what the fun one is.
So this
Okay.
one just came up.
Do you only have one idea?
Let-
Because I feel like I have a bunch, so I don't want to just like do yours and then do 10 of mine. But
Okay.
like,
Well, I mean that's fine of doing 10 years because maybe you've already did this one. So here's one of the ideas is that my friend Teresa, her daughter writes books and she works for a publisher.
Mhm.
And apparently like it has to do with like angels, and I wish I would have known the title of the book. I'd throw that in there. I'll probably put it on the site. But it had like angels that fall from heaven have this like big battle and Dante's Inferno and all these other things. And she has these really beautiful wings that she built out that
In real life?
in real life that looks like wings. And guess what? Where she advertises and goes to?
Twitch.
Comic-Con.
Oh man, cool.
So I was like, what? She's going to Comic-Con literally this weekend in freaking California.
Oh,
and I was
man,
like, how
nice.
much does it cost to booth Comic-Con? And they said it was $1,100.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, and she's like, I bet you get it a lot cheaper if you went to Denver Comic-Con.
Right, that's true.
And I was like, so not only would we be able to show it off, and be at Comic-Con and streaming, that could be a sweet event. Just throwing it out there. Idea.
I mean, I feel like that could be the interactive art piece, right? It's built to be in a booth at shows.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be interactive of a thing, and we just, it's just to promote the Double Drop Down show, right? Like it feels like so different, and so like I love that idea. I almost like that better than like trying to get it into an art show. Is like it's built specifically to interact with people at conventions. Like
Anyways,
that could be cool.
There's one idea.
Cool. Okay, so things that I was thinking of is like stuff that could come up in the spring or something like even maybe further out into the spring. I mean, so I had the idea of like the Summer Olympic Games are coming up, right? It could be some kind of like I like the idea of like not a skiing game or or not skiing obviously because it's Summer Olympics, but like not just a track and field game, right? But what if it was, we ask ChatGPT and we get like some murder mystery around the pole vaulters or something, right? Like we sort of do some kind of twist on the inner workings of some kind of Olympic thing that would come out right before the Olympics, and we would be like, bam, come play our fun Game Boy game that seems ridiculous because it's about a murder that happens between bobsledders or something, right? Like that was sort of like we figure out some kind of twist for it. Okay. Jimmy Carter turns 100. during the summer. And so I was like, who would play a Game Boy game based on Jimmy Carter? Feels like a fun, ridiculous
Wait, Jimmy
thing.
Carter's still alive?
Jimmy Carter is 99 years old and 100% still alive, still kicking, totally.
Okay.
Okay.
Who cares about Jimmy Carter?
Yeah, exactly. That's what almost is like the ridiculous part about it, right? Is an AI game built around like the oldest living president also feels funny. Okay. So
Ryan likes
in
this game about
2024,
presidents.
well, yeah, that is weird. I know, right? Because they came up with the Trump trials, which I still feel like is a good idea, but maybe too hot button. Okay. So in 2024, Steamboat Willie and from Mickey Mouse becomes part of the public domain. So not Mickey Mouse in general, only Steamboat Willie style Mickey Mouse becomes just anyone can use that. And I was like, what if we did some kind of like subversive, screwed up psychological thriller with Steamboat Willie?
And you're
right?
thinking this is video game
This
style?
is a video game. This is like, it could be a video game. Like it starts out as little Steamboat Willie, right? Like in his little steamboat.
What was that
doing
again,
things.
Ryan?
His little, hey, it's me, it's Steamboat Willie. And doing that, right? That's probably more like itchy and scratchy than anything else.
That was great.
But then like, we could do whatever we want with Mickey Mouse at this point, right? Like if it's in the public domain, we don't have to stick with Disney, whatever. We could make it like a horror game with Steamboat Willie. Like that's kind of what I was thinking is like, it's fun to like stick it to Disney, right? Because it's finally in the public domain.
Are they going to let that even happen?
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, we're not selling it, right? So in some ways we could do whatever Disney stuff we want, I think, as long as we're not selling it and not get DMCA'd. But I just thought it would be fun because now it's going to be in the public domain and we could sell it if we wanted to. F you, Disney. Anyway, that was an idea.
We just got canceled.
You
just canceled us, and you cut out half of our audience, if not more, with that comment.
So
I love you, Disney.
please purchase us. No. Okay, so the last one was in February is the Chinese New Year, and the animal or whatever that is part of the Chinese New Year coming up is the dragon.
Okay.
And specifically the wood dragon, which I think is just like, I know nothing else about it.
Are you thinking being done by February?
February.
Oh my Lord.
And so then we would be like the end
sprint.
of February 21st, and we're going to have a whole 24 hours to sprint through some of it, right? And get some of it done. But I was just thinking like, here's what I think about these events is we're not going to make an entire game. We're going to make a section of a game, a level of a game. We can't build it out. Like it's going to take too long, right? So if we think about just building one level that is fun
like the idea.
and interesting and has a twist and a boss maybe that you fight at the end, and it's just like a vertical slice of an event, which I feel like is fun, right? Because no one creates games like that because games are hard to create, right? And so they don't think about just doing a vertical slice of something that is timely because you're like, I have to create all these art assets and do all this stuff.
I think they do, though.
No, but like the Wood Dragon sponsored by Steamboat Mickey. Oh, man. We're really combining topics here. But like,
and come to our sweet art exhibit of that as well. Like
man.
you can do all of it in one thing. You can play the game on our thing.
Nice.
Game Boy like melted into his face.
So anyway, so that was one of the things where I thought, if you created around an event and you just do a vertical slice of something, you could do that because you can create, all of these art assets using AI as opposed to the painstaking labor of creating them in real life. So anyway, that was sort of my suggestions of like you and I of like talking about it and being like, hey, here's the two different types of projects we could do and maybe basing them around an event.
I think the video game one has me peaked the most for initially because for a couple reasons. As we stream, we have the screen where we could see some things and we could use
play
the AI.
through it and we could be like
maybe more visually, but I like the idea of also having something built. We'd have to do something new with the studio to be able to like get the pieces as we start to put them together.
Because like I imagine, I love here's now my new version of the art exhibit is like we have it finished in time for Denver Comic-Con, right? we purchased the booth.
Yeah.
I don't know, like just purchase it as an art experiment, right?
Yeah.
We just
for the hell of it.
We sprint towards whatever that time is, and we just set up a thing at the Denver Comic-Con that is just this weird art experiment that just goes, hey, and also our Twitch channel Double Drop Down could be fun.
I think
here's stickers.
we streamed during the whole thing.
We streamed during the entire thing, and we just say, here's what people's reactions are to doing our big, dumb, interactive AI Raspberry Pi thing that we did entirely on the show that is streaming right now over the last 10 months.
I like that. I'd say that if we did that one, we'd have to give ourselves some time because I would hate to show up with a half janky kind of thing
Totally.
at something like that.
Comic-Con is like in the summer, right? So you know how our AI board game took 10 months? Like
Ooh,
we would have 10 months.
We could have the board game there still because
we could
already
have it,
that.
right? We could be like, hey, check this out. Like here's the thing, But I also like the idea of a ridiculous booth. Because I have been to Denver Comic-Con, right? And they're all comic book artists who are trying to sell their comic book art, or they're just illustrators, or they're whatever, right? And they're trying to hawk their whatever. And just being like, no, it's not like that. We're not selling anything. This booth has nothing to do with selling anything. It is come and interact with this and see this weird thing that we created and maybe show up on the stream that we're going to be doing 24/7 during this thing. And like, having that is our weird, because like there's no booth like that at Denver Comic-Con.
I haven't been, so I want to know.
Yeah,
we got to dress up for that too.
Oh well, and like it feels very Meow Wolf in that sense that you're just like, let's just pick a topic, let's pick a weird thing and just dive 100% into it. And if that's us dressed up, if that's us like as part of it, I feel like that's all on the table.
Use my my other 3D glasses here. So I'll do my whole stream.
Is that the 2023?
What's your? No, these are 22.
Oh, 2022.
2022. No, this is what we'd have to use. I got to get the other mask.
Okay. Oh, this is the.
There's a mask behind it. There's something behind it. What the hell is this? What was this?
A jaw?
Oh, this is the inside of it.
Oh, the like supports?
It's like you're supposed to put these supports.
Oh, I see.
This isn't the mask.
There it is.
This is a sweet mask. Check this one out.
Yeah, nice. We've shown that off. On the thing.
Did we on the stream?
Because you know how I know? Because I cut together our first like demo commercial for this, and there's a picture of both of us, or there's a video of us like both putting those masks on because you had two.
I feel like I have to wear it now.
Just the whole rest of the show.
For the rest of the show. God, this like it shoves into your eye socket.
Oh God.
Oh my God, this is painful.
It hurts.
It's all right. What's up, guys? Welcome to Double Drop Down.
Yeah,
do I sound terrible? I can't even hear myself.
No, you can. It's fine.
All right, cool.
Perfect. Hey, hope you feel comfortable in that, guy. Now no one will know it's you. The earlier hour and 40 minutes of the show.
People are like, I'm out.
Out of here.
They're on their spiral down on the show.
We're losing followers, as we speak. Okay. So I don't know, like at the end of this, I would love to have a direction that we choose, right? Because when we come into at the end of this episode, like we get information, we get stuff from the chat if we want, like we sort of, you and I kind of come to a basic consensus about which way we're thinking by the end of this, because I want to move forward, because next time we come in, I want to have the project side of this, like us figuring out which platform we're going to use this, Game Boy game on, or what crazy booth we're going to come
I'm
up
hearing you, but maybe I propose that we use our fan base to help us maybe poll, and then we announce the decision at Extra Life.
Oh, right.
So you get the formal, here's where we're going, and then
We're gonna have 2 full episodes in between that. Then
Sure.
Okay.
This is
All
our
right.
intermission. We don't have
Sure.
to have something crazy every single time.
Totally.
I mean, we have really good discussions. We can probably get some guests on in the next couple ones.
You
I know
know-
at least one of our guests could be for even a little longer than normal.
Well, and maybe we announce it right before, because I want to be able to be building up to it, or like building it and doing things on Extra Life.
But if we have 24 hours,
that's true.
that is literally
That's a long
like
time.
where we could do all of the things. I love the idea of saying, all right, we pick the thing. Now you get to watch the entire thing.
Yeah. Well, and I know like part of it will be that we need like encouragement during those 24 hours, right? So that's why I'm telling people like, hey, you know,
You can
don't just give money. I mean, that's great, but show up and tell us, you know, give us inspiration.
So what are you passing on, Stella? That I don't know what that was in referring to. Like waiting till Extra Life, because that's only like what, a couple weeks away here.
So Extra Life is like 1 month away right now.
And so in the meantime, we continue with our show in the normal talk show format. And then by that point, we should be ready to go, jump in. I love the idea of starting with the entire process in a 24-hour discussion.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
if you-
kind of cool.
If you come pre-baked with it, like
Yeah.
you miss the fun of it. Like
Sure.
that's the cool part of this, is that you get to see the creative.
Like, and we could be like whiteboarding stuff and figuring out exactly what we want to do. And like, really, I mean, of the 24 hours, we could literally spend 16 of it, right? Like,
Right.
you know, working on it and figuring out the
Man,
entire design theory process.
I wonder if we should if I should think about like renting a place to do the 24-hour show.
You know, I feel like it's more fun in here, right?
That's
like
fair. That's fair. It's already set up.
It's already set up. It's already ready to go. It's kind of part of it is like, it's a marathon, right? Like
is
you
true.
need to, you
You
can't
need to be
comfortable.
in a comfortable space
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
all this stuff. Oh, I love the idea. So I think what we're gonna do is you'll see the Extra Life post coming out soon.
Yeah,
we will send that out to everyone, and then I'll try to get a poll on there. Booth is too soon.
Too soon.
So I think I would want to do the booth in like a year.
Well,
it gives
because
us some time.
when is Denver Comic Con?
I don't know. We could probably look that up.
Yeah.
There
Why
was-
don't you, I think it's like in June. Maybe no, July. It's in July because well, it was last year because it's always around 4th of July.
Isn't there multiple?
No, it's the Fan Expo. Is the big Denver one. And you know, like we talked about, like, oh, maybe spending money to advertise.
272 days.
Yeah. We have the countdown.
That's perfect. July 4th.
Yeah. Through the 7th.
So that's just under a year.
Yep.
All right, there it is.
Like 10 months. It's literally the same exact amount of time for the board game.
This is perfect. Let's get boothed. Let's get boothed.
We got to get boothed.
So
son.
you know what? Regardless of the project, we're going to booth it up, right? We just got to do this.
Yeah, I just think it would be like
We got to get all the
weird.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it
cool.
needs to be
We can
it
do
needs to be
this.
weird,
I
especially
think we got it.
especially if you did the interactive art piece for like knowing that it was going to be at a convention and where there was going to be a ton of people that need to come by and interact with it, that doesn't take too long. Like it would put constraints on it that would force you to think about the audience, right? That is going to be going into it. What are their outputs? What are the things that they're showing off to other people inside of the convention center and being like, I did this thing, or I got this thing out of this, and telling people about it. It's like, I want it to be remarkable in the sense that people want to remark on it, right? Would be part of the thing coming out of it.
And
So-
have Kevin Smith come
and have
to
it Kevin Smith come over to it and tell us that we totally screwed up and it's stupid.
No,
That's
you
my-
know
that's
what I
my-
want to do to Kevin Smith is be like, Kevin, you said that if we started a podcast, everyone would watch it.
What the heck?
And we've been here for 2 years, sir. 2 years. and
No. Get back here. I got things to tell you, sir.
We have an amazing fan base, but it didn't blow up into the humongous.
It's not the Smodcast, right?
Yeah, it's not this podcast.
So anyway, I came in here thinking we would absolutely choose video game.
Yeah.
But like the more that I think about like how that would go into a booth and how that would be so different and what we would do during those times feels like we would have to,
We don't know.
We
What
would
are we
have
gonna
to,
do?
like, we would have to research the space that we would get, right? Like how, like what could we do in that space? Like we get a folding table, right? So like how would it fit on top of a 4x6 folding table? You know, like how much Wi-Fi is there? Can we use that? Do we need to get like a booster that like is a hotspot for only our booth? Like to connect to the internet? How fast could it do
This
it?
is all stuff we do.
Totally.
Look at
Like
this guy, all
all of-
energized. I
I
just
just-
shoot him with a little bit of an idea. And
Totally.
Then boom.
Like I feel like those are.
Let's go figure out how much this damn thing costs. Good night, babe. I saw the chat there. So thanks for
Totally.
watching
Good
tonight
night.
and hanging out with
And
us.
hanging out.
I think
At
the
the Hangout.
sponsored by the Wood Dragon Steamboat Mickey.
the new animated short that I wonder, can we call it Steamboat Willie? Is that Steamboat Mickey?
Oh,
because it's
Mickey. Yeah, you probably can't.
We probably can't.
Steamboat Willie?
It's called Steamboat Willie, right?
Right.
Is the name of that thing? But is now the name Mickey out in public domain?
That's a good question. I don't know,
You
because
know,
is he
all
Mickey
things-
in that?
Right. And so that would be part of like researching it, right? I feel like if you went down that rabbit hole, you'd be like, what can we get away with Steamboat Willie? What can we do with that? Like now that it's in the public domain, because did you see Life of Pi, or no, not Life of Pi. It's just called Pi, and it's a Pinocchio game, because Pinocchio became part of the public domain, and that's why you saw like
So
multiple
they just came out
Pinocchio,
with-
multiple Pinocchio movies and a Pinocchio video game called Pi.
So somebody else is already doing some crazy
Well,
thing with it.
and like, hey, sure, whatever.
I don't know. So at this point, I'm not even sold. I'm still on the fence,
Sure.
but I kind of like the idea that we would go to Comic-Con regardless. And now we just get to pick like what's going to be there.
Our Comic-Con booth is just like play our Game Boy game, one level of our Game Boy game.
Be so funny, dude. Like one does like cool pedestal
be.
with one Game
would
Boy
be.
on it.
Like,
and people would be like, "What?
What
Be
is
like, yeah,
happening?"
this
And then
is
you're like,
sweet.
"What are you selling? This random Game Boy game?" No, it's not even for sale.
really.
It's for free. You can download it if you
Hey,
want right
what's
here.
going on?" You're on the stream.
I love the audacity of that, right? Of just being like, you're in public and we're streaming right now, and just tell us about this game. This is what we have to show. Whatever. It's a weird thing.
How much money did you
yeah,
spend?
We spent $1,200 on this.
Now, don't quote me on this, because like, is that one day? Is that multiple days? We're gonna have to do some research.
$1,100. That feels like it's got to be
For the
whole
entire
time.
thing,
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, I don't think you could just rent it for one day and then break down your booth after.
So we're gonna
first
do it
day.
for the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's a 4-day event.
3. I think it's 3 days.
Oh my goodness! All right. Well,
And one
I
of
love
them's
the
like
idea.
a half a day. One's like Friday night is like Friday night, and then
All right.
Saturday and
So
Sunday is
we would have to because I think we'd have to stream during this thing.
yeah.
Like-
So I think it's a 20-hour, or
Oh
it's
my
a
Lord.
12-hour stream or whatever from beginning to end of just like what is it? Because that's I feel like that is part of the art exhibit at that point, is that it's this thing and it's people's reactions and conversations around that thing.
All right, this is a challenge. It's stretching me because I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it, and I'm like, all right, what are we gonna do? Like, I feel like you're leaning towards this.
I'm
like, you want-
leaning towards
Have
this now because it seems ridiculous and over the top. And say we wanted to spend money on this thing to promote it. What would be the better way to promote it than doing the weirdest thing that this Denver Comic-Con? It's like every booth is exactly the same at Denver Comic-Con. It's selling prints of artwork that you did of chibi characters of superhero shit, right?
It's a cool thing to do, though.
I hate it for the most part.
Oh my goodness, you just talked it up, and now you're gonna tell everyone you hate it and go to that.
Yeah, because I hate the idea of like somebody took their artwork and was like, I'm an okay drawer, and I'm gonna draw Captain America in a different style, and everybody loves Captain America, so they're gonna buy my prints, and that's what 90% of that Comic Con is.
And they probably
And
still
it
make
needs-
money from it, though.
Totally,
And do
they
the
do.
thing.
They do. And like that sucks that they do, because like I want new shit. When I go to Denver Comic Con, you know what the stuff that I buy is original artwork, like prints of original artwork, and people that are trying new things. You know what I don't want is like Princess Peach in a different style than Disney or Nintendo draws Princess Peach. And so I feel like this would be such a weird and different thing that it feels like it would just be over the top and maybe completely unsuccessful, right? Maybe it is just a complete crash and burn and nobody cares about it and we don't set it up correctly and it doesn't work and we totally spend $1,200 to like F off and not even like do it. But like, how much better is that than like drawing?
I just think it's fun to
Black
do the thing.
Widow in a different thing.
I think you have a whole another commentary going on here.
I do. I feel like it's a commentary against Comic-Con, and I'm trying to do something different and interesting as an artist.
Ryan's art is coming out of himself. Here we are coming up with a sweet thing. Like, I don't care. If you want to go and buy that thing, that's what they want. I'm cool with it. What I want to do is just be different and be able to show up and create an experience that can really show off some cool things that we're doing. And so if we flank that, that's fine. I think that's totally cool. And I like the idea, though, that we're there for like no reason.
Yeah,
like,
that's the best part.
It's the hangout at Comic-Con.
And we're hanging out. Like, come and hang out at the booth. Do you want to be on the show? Do you want to talk about whatever stupid thing you think was fun or interesting?
Come
we're
on
just
over
talking.
here.
We're on the stream. We're on Twitch.
What did you buy there? Oh, that's an awesome Princess Peach Captain America artwork that you just purchased there.
You're like, here's Ryan to tell you the thing that you just purchased is stupid.
Punches it and tears it apart. Ugh. Like,
That's
get him on that.
You're like, everyone, the booths on either side of us are gonna hate us. They're just like streaming and talking the entire time. Anyway,
you know, I would be the craziest hype guy in that,
and
I would be out
like,
of control.
The idea of doing that feels like way better than like streaming in a place, you know, like to me, because it feels like you're there for a reason. You're there for a weird Meow Wolf reason of like showing off this weird different thing.
I think we're the weirdness.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole.
That's it.
I mean,
That's it.
whatever we're making
Yeah,
is the thing. This is performance art at
Totally.
this point.
It is at that point. And if it was to promote the show where we built this thing and we could talk about it, right? When people come up, we'd be like, we built this over the last year specifically for this moment to show you right now in this moment at Comic-Con. Check it out.
Then they're like,
nah. I'm like, all right, whatever. Get out of here then.
They're like, actually, I was coming here to, like, buy a shirt.
Could you tell me where the bathroom is? And I'm like, over there.
You're like, because I need to do a double drop down right now.
Yeah. Nice. But ching.
Perfect. I need the sound. That's where we need the sound effect.
Yeah, right. That's where you.
Oh man. Well, how are we gonna round this show out tonight?
I don't have any idea. I feel like it went off the rails quite a bit ago, but I knew that would happen with us
No, we
touching
did
about
not
fun
go off
things.
the rails. This is 100% we want to talk about. Is we
Right.
wanted to talk about the projects.
Yeah.
So we jumped into like the narrative AI, which I think was a really fun time to be able to kind of navigate
Totally.
some of that back history, and we're gonna get right back to it because I don't know. I don't think it's a crutch on us. It's more of we're gonna try every kind of AI we could possibly try now.
Yeah.
And we're going for it. And maybe we could bring along some of our friends to for Comic-Con. Maybe
Totally.
like
Oh.
if Ambient's making some badass music, you bring that
Totally.
in, boom, boom, boom. It was like
and
that'd be
like
sweet.
somebody's drawing something in real time, and we're recording over the top
Mike
of it.
Azul's there helping play board games with everyone.
I
It's
feel
like a hangout.
Totally.
It is the hangout.
It would like that's what I would do it as, is like, this is our Comic-Con hangout, right? And here's the thing that we built for it, and we're streaming right now. Come out and hang out with us. I feel like it would totally disrupt the entire thing of that. I feel like.
Well, I wouldn't say disrupt the entire
It
thing.
would, because I have been to Comic-Con for the last 2 years, and when I got out of Comic-Con for the last year, I was like, I don't know if I need to come back.
But kids, don't they do all those things? Comic-Con there's the hall, right, where you do stuff, and then there's like panels and other things you go to.
There's panels that you can go to. That's like the whole thing if you're going multiple days, right? Because I feel like I went for one day. We always go for one day. We go on Sunday, and like you can't even see everything in the main like art hall, the main sort of area in one day, I feel like, because they have so many people who are signing autographs and so many cosplay areas and so many booths to buy things and show off things that it's hard to. Anyway,
I seeded this idea. Thank you, Teresa, for letting us know the potentiality of this.
Totally.
So.
I feel like that's the idea of being able to be there when people are doing stuff isn't the same as like I was thinking sort of art piece, set it up in an art gallery and walk away. And see what sort of the interaction is. But the idea of like having 1 million people come by, because that's what all they do. Like they walk by the booths and they see what's happening. And if they like it, they talk to the artist who is right there and they go, oh man, that is a badass Black Widow in chibi style. And then they go, oh, and they talk about it and they buy a $10 art piece. Right. And then they move on to the next one.
That's the art piece. Is the booth.
Like
making a bunch of fake comic books.
Right. That's very
all of the
Wolf, like
super meta
of like ridiculous, like non-existent AI art books that don't mean anything and that are just like, going towards our channel or charity or something.
I love. No, all right, we're coming back to you on this one.
I'm coming back. Yeah.
I mean, I think that
let us know.
I think the interesting part of this is this starts to show the creative process. So, like, this is what we do behind the scenes. We would be talking about this regardless of being on a stream or not. But I'm glad we were able to channel the energy into like a project because that's probably the more fun part of it. So as we get down
to learning things, right? It's learning things about the entire thing because there would be whole new stuff to either one of these ideas would have whole new aspects of us to learn from.
Absolutely. And then everyone would be, if we made an AI comic book, people would hate us.
Yeah. And exactly. And I'm like, tell me how, like, buy this comic book, buy this AI generated comic book, and it goes towards anti-AI, like, legislation or something, right? Like, who knows? Like, it's just a weird thing to do. Like, people are there to spend money on things, right? Like, they're there to buy stuff and do things. And I feel like just no one has, like, disrupted it in some weird way.
I'm sure that they probably don't want that. Now we have this on camera for them to know. Yeah, we're okay.
Like it's a Meow Wolf style art project.
It fits within the thing. So I already have the booth in mind. There's a lot of orange. We got to get some things going. We got some big drape backgrounds.
Yeah, like I feel like it all has to be very
1 year later, $20,000 later.
$20,000 later.
Well, that sucks. That was a failure.
Us in the very back corner with no one even coming over to us at Comic-Con.
Because honestly, we were probably not getting the first up in front booth or the corner booth.
You would not believe how popular that thing is, man. Every single booth, it doesn't matter if you are in the very, very back corner of that entire thing. Like and I was there on a Sunday 2 years. And like, there's tens of thousands of people walking by every single one of those booths at every moment, it feels like.
Fair enough.
Whether they are cool or not, and people are stopping and interested by it, that's what I feel like is the thing. Because what artists do, not to go on a longer rant about this, but what artists do is they focus on their art, right? But they don't focus on the booth. Like, they take their art and they sort of set it up in the back. It's like a fun little thing, and they have their little.
But that's how they make their livelihood.
100%, right? But that's the same thing for every single booth. Every single booth is this little independent artist, and what they focus on is doing their artwork that they like, and they sort of set it out for people to buy stickers, right, or prints. And so, if you were to like disrupt that and have some kind of weird, crazy booth that had some kind of interactive thing that wasn't about that, I feel like so many people would be into just going over and seeing what that is.
So we'll just have to look and see if there's like rules, like, because maybe that's not a thing. Like, you have to sell something if you're in the sales area.
I can't believe they would care about that. But, it might be something where there's no internet, right? Or like you can't get extra internet from there.
I would bring our own internet.
Well, that's what I was thinking is like, does it need its own hotspot, right?
Yeah.
That is only
100%.
Dedicated to our thing, right?
Yes.
If people are putting their faces into something and looking at something and it's scanning their eyes and printing, like who knows what our interactive thing is? Does it need to be wiped down every time, right? Like to keep people from getting COVID or whatever. You're like, oh man, like part of it would be the limitations of those rules.
Well, what if it's like something that sprays acid in somebody's eye? That's
yeah,
part
like
of
what
the
if, what if
event,
part
man.
of what if part of my interactive exhibit is maiming people?
It's not.
Like, you
Disclaimer.
Can't, you can't,
it's
you
not.
can't have that. You can't. No, then no. Anyway, Catherine is calling me at 10:45 at night. That's
Well,
weird.
there we go. So, well,
yeah.
on that note, you should
On that
probably
note,
take that
hey,
call.
You know, no, it's fine. I will talk to her in a minute. But anyway, you can see how excited we are about all of this type of stuff. If you have any suggestions or you want to push us in one way or the other, I would say go into the Double Drop Down Discord.
Absolutely. So, great show tonight.
Yeah.
We talked through the father of AI, more history on AI coming up, more about AI and generally algorithms and things and how that works out.
Totally.
Thanks to Disturbed and Stealth Mouse for helping us out in the chat tonight.
Yeah, totally.
That was awesome. We got to
amazing.
see a little bit about the Toy Story NFL.
Yeah, right? Part of that weirdness that goes with the MLB.com of like tracking people's motions in real time.
The Meta glasses.
Meta
and
glasses.
They're not like these sweet glasses.
They're not like these 2022 amazing shades that we got going here. We printed those.
We
on
got
the,
the
show, didn't we?
subliminal AI, which did not work, but got close.
Got
Extra
close.
Life 24 hours. Check it out. We're
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about that. And then we will have some board game finale work in the next. I feel like a Christmas episode special could be around that sometime,
Totally.
maybe in November or December.
People would be able to like have some time off, right? And maybe come down and hang out with us and do.
Actually, that's a great one, and it's all Christmas. It's Christmas themed.
It's
Like
Christmas
it is
themed
it-
already.
I think that is the perfect
It goes
part.
perfect.
It makes a lot of sense. And so then you'll have to stay tuned to figure out what we really decide to do.
Yeah.
So I think we get really excited, and then we got to go and do the research, and
Yeah.
we got to figure it out.
Totally.
But I think we'll figure out what we're really gonna do and have it landed on the Extra Life stream. And which day is that again, Ryan?
November 4th.
November 4th, 24 hours, starting
Yeah.
at.
I don't know. I don't know what the time is exactly. It's a Saturday, right? So I don't
So
know if
probably
that's
like
starting at
12.
I mean, if that's starting at
AM?
midnight, the Saturday morning and going straight till midnight Saturday, or Saturday night, like that could be a thing. It could be starting at 10 a.m. and going to 10 a.m. the next Sunday morning. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Sounds good. Well, y'all have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with us
Yeah.
on the Hangout with Adam and Ryan, and we'll catch you next time.
Good night.
Good night.